Good evening, one and all. It's a Friday. It's, of course, the end of the working week, and that means today we are joining on to some more variety. And the variety chosen today is to continue the Warframe D&D project. Welcome in, everybody.
Nice. Every time I see this, I think, wow, time really does fly.
Time really does fly, doesn't it? Adam Alec, thank you very much for resubscribing once again to Tier 1 then. 19 months. Good lord, that is quite a bit of time there. Addy, cheers for that. And also, Chalk, I saw you hydrate. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, one and all. So, for those of you who are unaware as to what this project is or has been along the way, basically, I've been turning literally Warframes into D&D monsters because they don't really make sense as D&D player characters. It doesn't really work with how Dungeons & Dragons works as a system. So instead, like we've got here, the Excalibur Initiate, I have taken Excalibur as he is in-game, and I have molded all the details, whatnot, to fit a Warframe monster. A D&D monster even, as a Warframe. This one is challenge rating 3, so it's designed for a low-level party. Level 3 is really quite low. Like, very low. And so he's just an initiate. He's just got his slash dash. He's not even got any other abilities unlocked. Very basic. You level up a bit, and you end up against something like Excalibur Prime. Prime being the absolute top end. I have them all as initiates, adepts, masters, and then primes. And the primes have access to all 4 of their abilities, and my god, do they pack a punch. Even Excalibur Prime's only at level... only challenge 18, which still means that he'll wipe the floor with most parties a few levels lower than that. Oh, yes, indeed. So that's what I've been doing with all of them. And so far, this project has got the 3 starters frames at the front, and then thereafter it has been alphabetical. You can see we're still going. There goes Garuda. We got Gauss, Grendel, Jaya, and that's where we're up to so far. Now, last time I had this particular topic on stream, we actually had Garuda constructed on stream, so you have missed out on, as it were, the construction of Gauss, Grendel, and Jaya, because I've done those off stream, so this project gets done at some point, this century. Is kind of the idea. But let's head all the way down to the code side, which actually makes this happen. It's more markup than code, isn't it? And get cracking on. 3 of them? Yeah, 3 of them. Well, it has been 7 weeks since we last had D&D on stream here. 7 weeks. So, yeah. If it's going to be done ever, I do need to do them a little bit faster than DE actually put out Warframes. You know? That would kind of ruin it otherwise. What I'm going to do is copy the bits and pieces here from Jaya. Just down to there, because that'll give me the introduction template that I can then just change over for HARROW. Oh, and just in case anyone's curious, with Jaya, I've given Jaya some pretty fancy stuff with regards to how roads swell and everything works, and even decided, you know what, it's close enough in the timeline, and it's interesting enough. I gave Jaya the Rumblejack Dagger. I know that's supposed to be Drifter's thing. I don't care. Drifter, it doesn't exist in this document. The whole child soldiers thing just doesn't mesh enough for me to want to include it. So Jaya gets the Rumblejack Dagger, which is my way of explaining why the dagger does electric damage, or lightning as it is in Dungeons & Dragons. Anyway, we're not talking about Jaya today. We are talking about, as much as this is Jaya, HARROW. Oh, yes, indeed. Maybe everyone is Druid. I'm not including them as D&D classes, no, so it doesn't work that way, Agent. As much as you can refer to and incorporate elements of D&D classes into monsters, it is usually advised against. Instead, just create the monster. Monsters can have features and traits which may have some relationship towards those classes, but player class is first of all unexhaustive. It's just the classes which are available in the books. And secondly, monsters don't play by player rules. Players don't play by monster rules. They are entirely separate from a game balance and game design perspective. So you can draw parallels, but don't use them to set it up. Instead, let a monster exist and then see what is it related to in its description, mostly. That's the best way when it comes to creating monsters. Now, when it comes to HARROW, I've got some ideas for him, because you see, HARROW's actually a really complicated one to transfer over. In fact, I'm going to have to make some serious changes to HARROW's design in order to bring him into Dungeons & Dragons. For starters, what's Harrow's passive? Harrow is one of those frames with two passives. He's got the passive of having double the overshield capacity, and a passive of starting with maximum energy. Well, for starters, maximum energy, or starting energy, just isn't really a consideration in Dungeons & Dragons. It's a very uniquely Warframe thing, in fact, to enter into battle with basically no resources, so that doesn't really work. And then you've got his overshield maximum. Overshields, well, shield hit points just isn't really a thing like that in Dungeons & Dragons. The way I've been treating shields so far throughout this document is to treat them as kind of temporary hit points. Whenever you would gain shields, you gain temporary hit points. But that doesn't really gel with a double capacity on temporary hit points. It would be boring to just be like, yeah, if he can gain temporary hit points, he gains double. It's terrible. So, I will be taking a very different approach. But first, Cosmo wants us to switch music over to some ambience. Let's do that. There we are. So I will be taking a very different approach with Harrow. I will be taking a very different approach. Starts combat with temporary hit points equals level. Nope, that's terrible, Ray. Sorry, that came out very harsh. Let me explain why that's terrible. It's terrible because basically that should just be hit points. That isn't a passive, that isn't an interesting feature, that isn't any way to spend time on a stat block. Because all that does is it adds in a line of text which says to the DM, hey, yeah, it has more hit points. Sorry, we could have just told you that. Could have just put it in the hit points. Instead, there are temporary hit points, which not only are just hit points, but it also now gets in the way of any temporary hit point abilities that its allies might have.
Excellent work, Tenno. This will help our cause.
So, I can't actually see a good reason to have that. The passives aren't meant to be as shit as Warframe passives. Because a lot of Warframe passives are shit. Grunt policies, thank you very much for 100 bits, appreciate it. Apparently I'm in a very direct mood when it comes to Harrow. So trust me on how this comes together. I have been thinking about Harrow already as to how exactly this is going to work. Because otherwise, you know, Thurible would be a massive tripping point, not to mention all the rest of them. We've got Harrow's Condemn, we've got Harrow's, Penance, Harrow's Thurible, and Harrow's Covenant, as well as considering maybe what any kind of distinguishing passive to have. But I have got plans for all bits of that. But first, let's introduce Harrow, shall we? It is unknown whether the Harrow Warframe was produced to protect, was not produced, created to protect against a known threat. Oh, I spelled that incorrectly. A known threat, or if it was a mere coincidence. Regardless, Harrow can see beyond the veil and is well equipped to handle threats imperceptible to others. Surprise. No, not surprise. Not even interplanar travel can hide from a Harrow. There we are. Right, so I know I've been doing full study of all passives, most of them are cruddy. Yeah. Yeah, I know you know just how bad they are. So, is our starting point. It is unknown whether Harrow Warframe was created to protect against a known threat or if it was a mere coincidence. Regardless, Harrow can see beyond the veil and is well equipped to handle threats imperceptible to others. Not even interplanar travel can hide you from Harrow. Now, I wonder if anyone might be able to pick up exactly where I'm going with this already. Dajam City apparently needs to take a cold shower. Yeah. We haven't got that kind of dungeon master here, dude. You've entered the wrong stream for that vibe. Anywho, let's make our Harrow initiate. Because what is one crucial thing about Harrow's story, in particular the operator of Harrow? What is a crucial element of their story that we are aware of, at least in Warframe? What big thing basically highlighted their entire their entire reason for existing after getting control of the Harrow Warframe. You change yourself up again. If you're gonna keep being like that, I am gonna time you out. This definitely is not this kind of stream. But as Ladybug correctly figures it, Wally, the man in the wall, Harrow, and more correctly, Rel, was able to perceive a threat of an interdimensional nature. Rel was able to not just see it, but really properly understand it. The man in the wall was not hidden from Rel. Rel knew the threat that the man in the wall posed and was constantly a vigil and protection against it. So much so, establishing something of a cult around himself. Well, not something of, actually a cult around himself. Now, we don't need to create the man in the wall for the D&D. That's a terrible idea. That would be challenge rating yes. But what we can do is we can very simply turn that into one tiny little passive. True Sight. Harrow, unlike all the other Warframes, will have complete True Sight, which means that invisibility, which means that darkness, which means that hiding even in the ethereal plane will not be enough to escape Harrow's gaze. With True Sight, Harrow sees right through all of that, where no other Warframe can do it, because Harrow is the only one to really know what the threats are. That is how you make a passive. That's how you make a standout feature. There's more than a few extra hit points here or there. Doesn't have to be anything big, just enough to fit the theme. So let's get building along that line. Now Harrow, I have the idea of them being kind of a middle ground, not strong, not squishy. So pretty balanced across the board on the stats, should do fine there. They're definitely going to be high up in the wisdom side of things. Excuse me. They'll be high wisdom, high dexterity, higher in the intelligence, strength, nothing amazing, constitution, it's kind of going to be there, charisma, all Warframes, terrible charisma. Yeah. Zavara jokes, she's stealthy and Trough Sight? Not True Sight, Trough Sight should belong to her. Well, no. True Sight doesn't mean stealth. Stealth means stealth. Ivara is stealthy. Ivara is a hunter, a tracker. Ivara is not able to perceive between planes. So that's a very, very, very different vibe right there. Dungeon City, have you ever actually played Dungeons & Dragons? Just out of curiosity. Whilst I grab some stats to get an idea as to where we're going with this. Yeah, let's switch that int stat over with the whiz stat here. You know what, I will also drop the strength down. Keep the dex where it is, put this into con. At least have a little bit of that. +1 here, +3 there, and there we go. So that across the board should give the basic stats there. Hello Flo, how are you doing? First time managed to catch a D&D stream? Nice, welcome on in. Grab my, oh, wrong cheat sheet. I mean, no, that is the right one, yeah. I'm going to go for about challenge rating 4. That's my rough aim once again here. So challenge rating 4, we're looking for AC 14, hit point 75. I'm going to go pretty much straight across the board on this one. Keep them a very balanced one. Nothing too crazy one way or the other. A little bit was already some years ago, so fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I've been quite heavily involved in homebrewing various bits for Dungeons & Dragons. I've run various groups, some more sensible than others, some very, very not sensible. It's alright, Flo. You managed to find something that worked, something that matched your flow. You managed to pull off your Kavuva survival. We got there in the end. Alright, so yeah. Let's go for that AC 14, hit point 75 as our kind of our launching point. You'll notice that is going to be a little bit higher than with Jaya, which fits. Jaya is definitely squishier than Harrow. Gyro is most certainly squishier. And with that then, I don't want to go too crazy on the attack stuff, so again, we're just going to go across the line. This one's... Most of the other frames so far I've had either above or below in one way or the other, so this one being very across the line is actually a standout in itself. But we'll get to the damage stats later. We can build into these bits and pieces here. Now, acrobatics and performance was very much a Gyre thing. Harrow is clearly, and I do mean clearly, going to be a perception and religion initial skills. I mean, come on now. Am I throwing down whole personalized stat block, or do I work the abilities in from the ground up? I work the abilities in from the ground up, Jimity. See here at the moment, as much as I'm filling in Harrow, it's still actually got the abilities from Gyre here. And you can see I've got Gyre's Arc Sphere. And that's the same for all of the abilities on every single one of these Warframes. Even where they would have abilities that would kind of match in to existing stuff. I don't know which one I'd look at as a quick one for that. But basically, all the way through, I have completely recreated the abilities in a way that fits into Dungeons & Dragons. Because the first thing is I don't want to have anyone need to refer to other material just to be able to use my document. You shouldn't have to need to go flicking through the pages of a spell book on some other player's handbook or whatnot. And secondly, because I am custom making these, it means they will be absolutely on point for what that Warframe's supposed to have. Rather than just kind of fudged in because it mostly makes sense. And a big part of that with hold person, in fact, is, if I recall correctly, hold person... Yeah, I did remember correctly here. So, choose the humanoids you can see within range. Target must succeed on blah blah blah, or be paralyzed for the duration. A player using that against a monster is fine, because the only thing that can't act is one of the monsters that the DM controls. That's not boring for anyone. The players are happy. Hooray! That guy over there is no longer a threat. We did it! You do that to a player, and now you've got someone sat at the table going, hooray! I failed my saving throw. Guess that's the end of my turn. Cool. And that sucks. So when it comes to things like paralysis or just taking someone out of a fight, that needs to be used very sparingly, in my opinion, because it's just not fun. As powerful as it may seem, it's just not fun. I mean, look how much players complain about it in Warframe if you just so much as get knocked down. Some people act like that's the end of the world. That's not even taking you out of the game for minutes on end, or in some cases half an hour until your next turn. Yeah. Well, Jimsy, you brought it up, so it was something to address, and perfect opportunity to address why I don't include those kinds of things. I hope that makes it overall clear. Alright then, so with the perception, we're going to have then a +3 and a +2, that is a +5 total. And religion is intelligence based, that's only going to be a +3. The skills of Warframes basically don't matter, except for where they do. Should the DM find a reason to make it come up, then it can matter. Otherwise, they're just kind of there as a bit of flavour to give more an idea as to what this Warframe is good at, how they might act, how they might interact. Because you can't really convey character through monster stat blocks, but we can convey little bits. For example, having Grendel Prime be proficient in animal handling, athletics, and nature. And when I say proficient, they're actually an expert in both athletics and nature. Now, this is much more mobile than one might expect in a heavy-set figure. And so that impresses... No, they just look heavy. They know how to carry themselves. I see how many times you bung up your muscle today. You and me both, Jason. You and me both. Let's see. Right then, bullet jump once per turn. Harrow may turn a jump into a bullet jump, jumping as if it had a run up and able to cover twice the distance. That twice the distance vertical is actually only going to be 4 foot on the initiate, or horizontal of 16. Harrow initiate is not good at jumping. A 4 foot vertical is perfectly human achievable if you are a 16 strength human. Granted, that requires twice the strength score of Harrow here, but still, that is pathetic. That is truly pathetic. But that's fine. We don't need it all to be amazing. Actually, sorry, does it need to be 16? No, sorry. No, 12 strength. Because that'll be +1 and +3, yeah. 12 strength for the 4 foot, 16 for the horizontal. Even more pathetic. There are people in this chat who can jump higher than Harrow Initiate. And that's a bullet jump for them. Yeah, it's 3 plus strength modifier, so in this case, 3 plus -1 is 2. Double jump, bullet jump makes that 4. Because once per turn, Harrow may jump into a bullet jump, jumping as if it had run up enables cover twice the distance. So yeah. Harrow gets 4 foot because despite being below average strength, Harrow still is a Warframe. Right, let's take out the Arc Sphere. No one needs an Arc Sphere. That can piss off. That's a Gyre thing. We instead have Condemn. You can't see crap on mobile, go switch your desktop. That's fair, yeah. That's fair. Right, so Condemn. This is obviously going to be a spell. I'm going to make this 1 action. And we'll make this for a maximum duration of 1 minute. No concentration or anything needed on that. For this, we can just go with the very basic, sending out that cone of basically chaining up the enemies. So, Harrow casts forwards. Harrow casts forward. It's. Shall we make the throwable? It's what do you call it? It's spellcasting focus. I think we should. How many of these have I done? Well, I've done all the Warframes alphabetically up to Gyre, plus I've also done Mag and Vault ahead of time, because I did the starters first. And I've done 4 Warframes, or 4 monsters for each Warframe, to give 4 different tiers of play. So, let's see if we go. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Didn't do Citrine because she hadn't been out yet. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, plus 2, 16, 17, 34, 68 monsters so far. 68 monsters so far. Is there any way you can see these? There is a in-progress document that was available over on my Discord. It's not fully up to date because basically there are enough in there at the time that I would rather people refer to the ones which have been made so far and give feedback on those than just keep peeking at every little thing. Yeah, you'll have to be on the Discord, and you can grab it from the Dungeons & Dragons thread in the miscellaneous games section, but it won't have every single Warframe I've done so far. It's I won't be releasing the rest of them as a document until I've got the whole thing done, basically. So yeah, Harrow casts forward, it's let's just call it Arcane Thurible, yeah. It's Arcane Thurible. Actually, if Thurible's going to be the name of ability, maybe I shouldn't have that as the thing. That could be confusing. Alright, let's just cast forward its arm. Releasing
Excellent
a
work,
wave of
This will help our cause.
spectral
And
chains.
faith ability.
Yo! Got policies. Thank you very much for the 100 bits. And faith ability? I'm not sure I follow. But cheers to the 100 bits. At the very least. Yeah. Harrow casts forward its arm, releasing a wave of spectral chains. Attempting to restrain hostile creatures in a 15-foot cone in front of it. Targets in the area must make a... Now this is where I'm curious. This is where I'm curious as to whether or not I should stick with the whole, dodging things, might be dexterity, or breaking out your chains, might be strength, or do I go with a very psychological approach? Given Harrow's otherworldliness that I'm touching onto here, what if I make this intelligence-based? To avoid these restraints, it's to see through the illusion that they're not really holding you. That the restraints are illusion, that there is no boundary to the world. Do I implicitly go down that road? Let's just get back onto the Harrow side. Do we want to tie some of these abilities into the existence of the throwable, like Exiled with Longsword? I'm tempted not to on this, Jason. And for most Warframes, as I don't want the answer to them to always be just take it away. Excalibur is an individual thing, because it adds a little bit more interest to someone who is otherwise just the sword guy. But for the rest of them, I like there to be a little bit more able to go on. And also I just don't like Excalibur, so poo to him. Yeah, the reason I am cagey about using intelligence saves is that they are rare saves, so most players won't have much in the way of an intelligence save, and that can potentially just shut them down for good. It's one of those do I don't I kind of things. Intelligence seems like it could be a fun approach to it, but at the same time, would it be fun for players? That's the consideration I'm trying to balance there. But anything that makes intelligence a little bit more relevant isn't exactly a bad thing. So targets in area must make an intelligence saving throw. DC on this, it's going to be based off the intelligence of Harrow, because intelligence is spellcasting for Warframes. So that's only going to be a DC 11. Not the end of the world, but on higher tiers that will be the end of the world. Just to say, agreed on the int saves since they're not common. As you said before, fighting Warframe requires prep. If you go in with a bunch of low-end fighters, you get what you get. Fair point. You know what? Thank you. I'm glad you remember that bit. Yeah, I am such a proponent of actual prep for fighting monsters that I made a point of it literally on the front page of this whole thing. Preparation begets success. Basically, say to the DM, kind of push your players towards, you know, trying to figure out what they're fighting before they encounter it. And even guidelines on what intelligence DCs to have on how much the players learn. Because intelligence is not used anywhere near enough in D&D. It's just not. This seems a lot like Phantasmal Force, which I didn't save, so I think you're justified. Yeah, there we are. That works too. Right then, so, targets the area must make an intelligence saving throw, DC of that. On a failed saving throw, target becomes restrained for the spell duration. Yeah, a target may... The target becomes restrained for the spell duration. The target may re-attempt the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, freeing itself on a success. Think of this in logs of becoming an option again. Yeah, that's always a good thing. I'll be honest, I haven't been following pretty much anything of the 1D&D stuff, if that's what you're referring to, Zon, because, well, Wizards of the Coast have kind of burned up every bridge they can, again, and again, and again, and again. So as much as I'm doing this in D&D 5e, because I'm familiar with it, as and when I'm done with this project, it will probably be the last of anything I make for D&D 5e. Or for D&D in general. Because I would like to move towards systems that aren't involved with them. But I was already far enough into this one, might as well continue with it. Might as well. Alright, and just on that note, one of the D&D groups I did run had someone who played an intelligence-based warlock. Because I just gave them the option, do you want to play it as a charisma or intelligence? They chose intelligence. So yeah. You hear it from someone who can't leave the space? Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be plenty of people in that situation in there. But we have Condemn here. Spell, 1 action, maximum duration 1 minute. Harrow casts forward its arm, releasing a wave of spectral chains, attempting to restrain hostile creatures in a 15-foot cone in front of it. A little bit of blend of flavour and mechanics all in one. Targets in the area must make an intelligence saving throw. On a failed saving throw, the target becomes restrained for the spell duration. Capital R to say, this is a mechanic. The target may re-attempt the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, freeing itself on a success. Yeah. Just saying, probably wouldn't be too insane to convert this over to PF2E once it's all done. It would be nice. It would be nice, although the balancing is going to be different, but it would be nice. Alright then, the Harrow's Void Power ability is Intelligence, Bell save DC is 11. I'm not going to give Harrow a cantrip, as I did with Jaya. Jaya got Arc Strike for a ranged spell attack cantrip, so I'm not going to do that here with Harrow, and as a result, we don't need the spell attack bonus on here. Let's just rip that straight out. It can innately cost the following power, singular. 1 per short rest, and that is Condemn. 2nd level. Boom. Right, this can vanish. That's just not happening. Instead, let's see. So, Harrow should basically have a mace. But dexterity... that doesn't work. Swing it the other way then. One of the beauties to be able to do this on a whim is we do it on a whim. Nice and tautological. Screw it. We'll keep the armor class where it is. The natural armor is just very strong on this one. Go figure. It's +5 somehow. We'll go down the strength route instead, which means I do need to change this. Harrow is now suddenly good at jumping. Who knew? There we are. Reason being is that mace seems like the right choice there, and also on rethinking it, Harrow was kind of, you know, holding a line against the man on the wall. Wasn't exactly a very dexterous near corpse in those chains, was it? So, let's go mace. Oh, I deleted all the stuff, so let me grab the formatting. That was done with me. I'll grab it from the side. Okay, so we have the mace, melee weapon attack, plus that is going to be a very simple 2 and 2 for 4 to hit. Reach 5 for 1 target. We'll figure out hit stats in a moment, but it's not going to have any lightning damage on it whatsoever. Oh no, 28 foot vertical, it's not a multiple of 5. All players don't have a vertical that's a multiple of 5 unless they have a multiple of 5 in their strength stat. In fact, wait, no. Now you confused me. Junior Monster. 28 horizontal, not vertical. The vertical is a multiple of 5. It's 10. It became a multiple of 5. Don't do that to me. But yeah, the horizontal. That was confusing for a moment. Yeah, all players will have a horizontal jumping distance, which is equal to their strength score, or half that if they do not take a 10-foot run-up first. For Warframes, they do not require run-up for a bullet jump. We just do it. And secondly, they get double the distance because a normal jump is actually kind of pathetic. For a Warframe, it's just pathetic. So that's why they get that. So this means that with a 30-foot movement speed, Harrow can clear 28 feet, plus say an additional 2 feet of walking in the first place. So long as there is a 20-foot wide or smaller chasm, Harrow can just clear it. Just one single leap across, which is kind of a little bit devastating. Alright then, let's see, how much damage we actually need to get then? For challenge rating 4, we're aiming for a damage output of about 25 per round. So over the course of 3 rounds, we're looking for about 75 damage. That's going to be a big ask here. That is going to be a big ask because a 5e mace is only a 1d6. Ginger, the way a DM should probably rule it normally is they should either say round down and it just works. So if you're going up to 25 feet, Harrow just jumps it. If you are dealing with a distance which is, say, 30 feet, the way I would handle it is that somebody who's trying to jump just that little bit beyond their jump distance would need to make an athletics check to see if they succeed in the jump. And then if it's significantly more than just rounding up to the next square, then that athletics suddenly becomes very difficult to pull off. But the 28 is within this range, they just jump it. Yeah, it's kept as a mathematical thing. That's just the design of 5e when it comes to jumping. Joseph saying the current stats, if you're wanting around 75 HP, 14d8 gets you 77 with the current con mod. 13 gives you 71.5. Okie dokie. We'll go for the 77 then. You said that is 14d8. Okay, so 14d8 plus 8 is what Jason is claiming. Let's check the first bit of viewer math of the day. That is 14 lots of 5.5, which comes out to 77. Absolutely perfect. Up marks. Ginger wants to say, well, the real question is, how does this bullet jump interact with the jumping feet? It doesn't. Monsters don't take feats. They don't level up. They're monsters. Yeah. Hello, Clow, saying this is a weird mix, my favourite video game in 5e. I mean, I don't know why it's weird, it's certainly a mix. But yes. Alright, so yeah, we got the bullet jumps, we got the condemn, we got the void power, blah, 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 blah. It's just the mace. What we could do, if Harrow is really, we're going down that vibe of dealing with the ethereal, the interplanar stuff. What if I give Harrow psychic damage on the mace? Just as a thought. This thing like, genuinely messes with your mind. Harrow manages to smack this reality through you. Yeah, I think like visions of the man in the wall, that kind of shit. But yeah, just to be clear for those of you who've joined in, we are making Warframes as D&D monsters. That is what it says in the stream title, but yeah, I'm turning Harrow Warframe into a D&D monster because Warframes as player classes doesn't work. You can try and make it work. It will be a pale facsimile of what Warframes should be. Whereas Warframes as monsters, you can dial them up to the nines. They could be these crazy and yet very narrow things because they just get 4 abilities. And then the players fight the Warframe of the week or whatever you do with your campaign. They defeat it, they move on, happy days. No more balancing required. Basically. Wouldn't Force be more applicable equivalent to Void damage? Which one gets for Man in the Wall damage? Oh, I had a note on this. What was my cheat sheet? Force damage I have down as magnetic. Yeah, so damage type conversion is just on my cheat sheet here. I've got heat is obviously fire, cold is cold, electric is lightning, toxic is poison. Nice and simple. Then blast is thunder, radiation is radiant, gas also poison. I guess D and I both can't really separate gas and toxin. Viral, necrotic, corrosive is acid, pretty obvious on those ones, which left magnetic to be force. Now, Ray, don't send the Zerglings after Jim Raynor. I think he's been through enough, alright? It's been through enough. We do not need to start bringing in yet more infestations. Yeah. Magnetic as electric would have been just kind of weird to me. Reason I went with the Force is that if you consider what magical force is in Dungeons & Dragons, force is kind of a poor word because it gives the impression of, you know, physical force. But force is more raw damage. It is the damage that bypasses the ability, just the ability to evade damage of things like ghosts. It can tear through even the ability to just target things, like with Magic Missile, it just hits. It's what Eldritch Blast is made of. Force is just this raw, untamed magic damage. It is effectively a force field. It just slaps through any real intermediary application of damage, because heat is just shaking things enough at an atomic level that it decides to break. Electricity is moving electrons enough that it breaks. Toxin is just invoking various biochemical compounds or anti-bio compounds until someone dies. Same with corrosive. But force is... it's force. It's a force. And so is magnetism. Electromagnetism. So I figured force was the right call on that one. So yeah, that's where Force is. It's magnetic. Whereas Psychic doesn't have a listing on my cheat sheet. Because out of the damage types we have, aside from Void, because Void is not really a thing that comes up normally, Psychic doesn't have a place. So if we are going with the Void stuff, Psychic would be the one. Which is a very long way of saying, nope, that's why I want to do it that way. Yeah, I'm thinking we go with that one. Again, add some spice to it. This is very much a be on your best inside. Do I have an equivalent for Tau damage? Well, as we don't have sentience, I don't need to worry about that. Yeah. Tau doesn't have an explanation anyway. Finisher damage? Not a thing in D&D. Finisher damage is only a thing in Warframe because they decided to make it typeless. So yeah. Jesse's saying void damage should be an untyped damage and not subject to resistances. That is probably way unbalanced, but yeah, Psychic also works. Yeah. Should I make the condemn spell more clear that it is Unreal Chains? I think the intelligence saving throw might sell it enough, and just leave it up to the DM to decide, are they real or are they not real? I've called them spectral. It's got an intelligence save. At that point, leave it to the DM to decide how to play it out. I don't need to force that one. I don't need to spend the time filling in the text there. Bloating the stat block, I think. Yeah. Yeah, let's go with that. If I change Spectral to Illusory, that would emphasize not real. If I go for Illusory, then it just breaks the idea of them being actively restrained. It also invokes a whole bunch of stuff along the lines of you can see through illusions by default, this, that, the other. There is a whole section of D&D that handles illusions differently. So that's why I've not gone for straight up calling them illusions. They are bound, but it's not a very real binding. It's one of those, oh yeah, it's outwards. It's interesting I've specified the code is in front of HARROW since there's no facing direction in 5e. Is that not terminology that's used in some spells? Thunderwave, 5e. Oh wait, no, as a cube. It was Burning Hands. As you hold hands with thumbs and fingers spread, a thin sheet of flames shoot forth from your outstretched fingertips. Each creature in a 15-foot cone must... Yeah, it doesn't say in front of you. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Sod it, we can mirror that then. Good shout. Good shout. Yep, let's do that. Alright then. So, for the damage on the mace, it is a mace, so it's d6s plus 2, which in itself is only 5. Oh god. I'm gonna make this a great mace. Yes, just... It's a heavy mace now. 2d6. Deal with it. Fewer attacks, heavier hits. Makes for a more engaging experience. That is 9. Still need to ramp up the damage a bit more to get to that 25. So... if I can make it where HARROW attacks twice, that'll bring it up to 18. Still short by about... well, it's short by 7. Something more? Yeah, it's a mace, but it's a heavy mace. Yeah. But do I want to give him a maul? A maul doesn't fit the vibe as much. I've got the solution. I got the solution. This is a solution that D&D uses for various monsters which just simply aren't scary enough on their own. Dread. Dread, dire, those kinds of words sells it. It's a dread mace. Dire animals, dread equipment. Boom. Can I damage it back in a psychic? I didn't want to make it all psychic. That was the problem, because if I just did a basic mace of 5 damage, then I'd have to make so much of it psychic, or make Harrow make like 3 attacks, and that just seems weird. So I'm going to focus on having a mix of bludgeoning, and then a bit of psychic. Also, dread is expected reaction to psychic damage. That works too. Yeah, there we are then. So, such and such bludgeoning damage. And so let's go with just 1d6 psychic, I think. Yeah. So it's 3, 1d6 psychic damage. Just a little hint on it. Doesn't mean the Stalker Warframe Dindy mob would have a dread. It could do. We could have a super dread. We could have a dreadnought bow. The word dread is not just the Stalker's thing, Ray. Come on now. Just because the word dread was used doesn't mean it has to be only for the Stalker. It's like I can use the word shock somewhere and not mean vault. A dire stalker. No, you misheard. It's a deer stalker. It's just a hat. It's lovely. It's fine. Anyway, the red mace, +4 to hit, reach 5 foot, target. And then what we need to do is now go multi-attack. Harrow makes 2 attacks with its dread mace. Perfect. Alright, so the only thing I'm missing now is to actually put in the passive, which I'm just going to simply call Rap, Tap, Tap. Harrow sees beyond veils of reality, granting 30 feet of true sight. And senses, it should be in here. I believe it goes into senses, passive perception, that, and then true sight, 30 foot. Yeah. Now, for those who don't play Warframe, this is going to be very confused. They'll be like, what does Rap Tap Tap have to do with true sight? And little do they know. Maybe it would be enough that someone, somewhere down the line, looks through this, decides to play Warframe, gets to the Harrow quest, and then goes, oh my god. Maybe, who knows. Am I going to add an ability that allows this Harrow to force players to roll for concentration? Why? That question seems a bit out of left field. I don't really have an answer for that one, sorry. Other than why. Okie dokie. In terms of stats, we're pretty much where it needs to be. We've got an attack here for 9 + 3, so that is 12. Actually, it's about 12. Double that because it's 2 attacks, makes it 24. We've got the condemn action, restraining some of the enemies, or players in this case, which makes up for the fact that we wouldn't get 24 3 turns in a row because we were casting a spell first, but that spell is a very strong one. So that should work. Just most of my thoughts are Rap Tap Tap is intentionally jarring because of how it hits you here separately. Certainly concentration break in real life. I mean, okay. That wasn't my intended design with this one. We're not recreating the man in the wall. And we're certainly not introducing the actual lore of Rel. This is based on Warframe. And so where I'm basing it on here is that giving Harrow that unique identity of looking beyond the veil, not quite so bound to this reality as all other Warframes are. It's referencing. The literal Rap Tap Tap sound, that's very Warframe specific, the game. That's not something you're going to replicate very often at a D&D table. Actually, I don't think you would ever replicate at a D&D table. So, not really sure what kind of introduction I can bring there. Jason says, nitpicky format, in 5e stat blocks for senses, they tend to list passive perception after every sense type. Thank you. That kind of nitpick is welcome. Alright then, let's bring this down. Add in the separator, just so it lines up correctly, and we can get on to the next bit.
Tap, tap.
I was wondering how long it would take. We got to nearly an hour on the stream before someone did that. Andrew, thank you. Alright then, just say the ability to see beyond the void sounds like something that would be more fitting for Limbo, to be honest. See, Limbo creates a whole different rift dimension, whereas Harrow has always been the stalwart vigil against the man on the wall, the only one that could see the true horror, the true threat that was faced there, and creating a cult around defending against it. Limbo jumps the planes. Harrow goes, dude, that is a fucking terrible idea, what are you doing? And as we know, it was in fact a terrible idea. Limbo maffed himself to death. Really not a good plan. Alright, let's get on with the Harrow Adept. Now for the Harrow Adept, we are switching on over to 5 challenge ratings higher, so that'll be challenge rating 9. So aiming for that 16 AC, 135 hit points. I'm going around to figure out the numbers on that, if Jason doesn't jump to it first. For the stats across the board, according to my little cheat sheet, it changes. We need to bring up this to an 8. That's now a minus... Oh, I put 9? Apparently I wanted 9. Okay, it's a 9 now, not an 8. It's still a minus 1. Doesn't matter. And then I need to bring up the rest of the stats across here for a total of a +6 change. So let's give the strength... You know what? Let's give the strength the double dose. That is that. That is that. Bring this one up by 1. Bring this one up by 1. And bring this one up by 1. There we go. Speaking of Limbo, his rift walking is near perfect analog for the ethereal plane. Oh, yep. Oh, yep. I have certainly got considerations in mind for that as and when we get there. Limbo can see more things because he's very tall, not because of true sight. Love it. That's ridiculous. Love it. Right. Let's take these stats and run them through now. So, the perception, I'm going to give Harrow Adept expertise in perception at this point, which might seem a little bit overpowered. That's the point. You can't sneak up on this guy. So, we got 4 from Wiz. The proficiency bonus at challenge rating 9 is actually a +4. We got 4 + 4 + 4 for a +12 to perception. Good luck. And then religion will just keep as proficient, which is going to be a 2 + 4 for 6. There we go. Language common doesn't need to change. True sight. You know what? I'm going to increase the true sight. Each tier up will increase the true sight by an amount, just to make it even more dangerous. Because why not? I can. I don't need what I'm looking for on there. The XP has changed to 5,000. There we go. Once per turn, Harrow may jump. The vertical is now 4 + 3 is 7, so 14. And the horizontal is just 36. Rap tap tap, granting 45 feet of true sight now. This lot we can all just not touch for a moment, although DC I'll figure out in a sec. This brings us on to... this is Penance, isn't it? Yeah, Penance is the name of the ability. Spell. Let's make this one bonus action. 1 minute. Ooh, do not capitalize minute. 1 minute.
Magical.
Yo, Shinigyo, thank you very much for the 600 bits. Is that? Oh, no, what is that thing? Is that a melting narwhal? That appears to be a melting narwhal. Okay then, fair enough. Thank you very much for the 600 bits. Hope you're having yourself a good one. Righty-tighty. So penance. Now, penance normally Harrow consumes his shields. We don't have shields. What I could do with this is just have it be a straight up Harrow takes damage to cast this. Which could work. Problem is that there's also the healing on penance. Do I want to go down that road? People are getting closer to your first place. Let's see. Addy, you're on 1500 to second place 600. No offense to Shinigyo, but there's a bit of a difference between the two of you. I think you're okay. Not to mention, you are the only sub-gifter this month so far. I think you're okay. Let's see. So, this, I'll be honest, this was the one where I was like, I'm not sure what I'll do. I'll figure it out on the stream. And now I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm figuring it out on the stream. Let's see. Oh, from Jason first. 20d8 gets us 130. 21 doing 136. 136 is what we're looking for. So, at least I can put off thinking about that for a moment longer to do that. I am going to double check again just to be certain. 21 times 6.5. Yep, cool. Perfect. Thank you. Alright then. Penance itself. Give me inspiration, please. We've got initial heal. Does he heal himself initially when casting this? Using his shields to gain health? Yes, he does. Huh. Okay, that's a thing. Gains lifesteal, gains fire rate, gains reload speed bonuses. That's not going to matter. That only applies all to himself there. And then there's the affinity range bit where... Where's the affinity range bit? Allies affected by lifesteal include... Yeah, 5% any damage dealt by Harrow converts into health for allies in affinity range. Okay. We could just go on the support side. We use temporary hit points in the passive shields. We have, I know that, Jason. The problem is that Condemn isn't generating them. And Harrow doesn't naturally have temporary hit points, because that would be a bit weird. But it does leave this bit open here, so... I can just instead go down the lifesteal and attack speed route. Harrow takes a bit of damage, but then can gain it back. And still pass that lifesteal out to his allies. And if I keep the lifesteal low enough, that should stay balanced out. That doesn't become crazy. Yeah, I think I can do that. So, Harrow... Oh, how do I spell this word? Flagellate. I'm going to check. I don't think I've spelt that correctly. I'm getting the wrong thing entirely. What? Oh yeah, that was the right word. Yeah. Why did some kind of bug, cell organism thing come up? That's cheating. Flagellate. To flog someone, either as a religious discipline or for sexual... Google. People, please, come on. Why are these things so often found next to each other? This is just not fair. God's sake. Rule 34 really is in action once again. Yep. Bonks for Google. Bonks for Google. Okay, well at least I spelt it correctly. As much as that happened... Look, if you imagine that Harrow's doing this for sexual purposes, you got a problem, okay? You got a problem. And your problem is still going to be Harrow because he's going to murder you now. Harrow's just a lot of those tiny things in a trench coat. Maybe that was the bug frame all along. It's not a bug as in a computer bug. It's not a bug as in a fly or a mosquito. No, actually, it was just a literal bundle of bacteria. whatever the hell those things were. That's your bug frame. It will give you a cold, and then it will rip your mind out of its socket. Somehow. Also, your mind has a socket now. Deal with it. The body must suffer for the sins of Twitch chat. God. Ah! I'm just going to move on from this entire topic. HARROW flagellates itself with a spiked chain. No, just let the DM figure out how it flagellates itself. If they want to go spiked chain, they can. If they want to go with a whip, they can. If they want to go with a mace, they can. If they want to go... Or do I... Spectral. Spectral. Everything's fine if you use the word spectral. Yeah. HARROW does kinky damage, for God's sake. I just... No, we're not doing this. No. Like, HARROW flagellates itself with a spectral chain. Sometimes we're glad we don't have on-screen chat anymore. Yeah. Yeah. We have a spectral chain. If you use the word spectral, you can create anything you want because it's magic. It doesn't matter where it came from. He just has one, which kind of fits exactly how he does it in game as well. So, you know, there we are. So, HARROW flagellates itself with a spectral chain. Dealing... How much damage do we want to deal? Let's go 15. Let's take a huge chunk out. Dealing 15... 15 bludgeoning damage to itself. This damage cannot be reduced by resistance or immunity. Just in case, you know, something gives him a bonus. HARROW just goes, nope, this must happen. I will take the pain. Up bear totem barbarians resistant to kick. Oh, for God's sake. See, there's a part of me that wants to just run with that, but no, we're not doing it. No. Okay? We are not invoking bears and kinks in this bloody stream. It's not happening. So. Dealing 15 bludgeoning damage to itself. This damage cannot be reduced by resistance or immunity. For the duration of the spell, HARROW and its allies within... no. Warframe gives it affinity range. We don't need to go that far. No, actually, it's not HARROW and its allies. It's just HARROW. For the duration of the spell... It's two parts. HARROW may make 3 attacks with its Dread Mace as part of the multi-attack action instead of the usual 2. In addition to this, when HARROW hits with a weapon attack, any weapon attack for that matter, HARROW and its allies within, let's say the range of its true sight. I'll tie it to that. 45 feet. Regain how many hit points? It's going to be HARROW and allies. I don't want to go crazy with it. Let's go with... I'll tie it to double the intelligence modifier. So regain 4 hit points. That's what I'll scale it off of. Yeah. Duty say instead of taking bludgeoning damage that can't be resisted, why not just have HARROW's hit points reduced by 15? Yeah, I probably should just do that, shouldn't I? Yeah. Losing 15 hit points. Yeah, let's go with that. Now, Jimity, no. No, you can't come out with a good idea and then come out with that. No. Stop. Bad. Do I need a spray bottle emote as well? You'll stop? Okay. Good. Now we just need to convince the other 50 of you to stop. Alright then. So, Harrow flagellates itself with a spectral chain, losing 15 hit points. For the duration of the spell, Harrow may make 3 attacks with its dread mace as part of the multi-attack action instead of the usual 2. In addition to this, when Harrow hits with a weapon attack, Harrow and its allies within 45 feet regain 4 hit points. Yes. I feel I should put some more flavour on this one, to be honest. Why does flagellation lead to faster attack speed? Harrow... invigorates its attacks by flagellating itself with a spectral chain. There we go. Just a little bit more, because I don't want to bulk this right the way out. Got a little bit of space at the bottom here. Don't know what I'll use it for, image-wise. We got a thing. Now, Harrow invigorates its attacks by flagellating itself with a spectral chain. Is that enough? Yeah, sod it. That'll do. That'll do. Alright, Harrow's ability, spell save DC is now 14. Which means that this up here should also be a 14. And 1 per short rest, condemn, and now also has penance. Which I'm going to say is a 4th level spell, for the purposes of being counterspelled. I think that's about fair. Alrighty, hello Archer, how are you doing today? And it is indeed Harrow this time, yes, yes, yes. This has been the more complicated of the ability to do so far, penance, but we're fine. Okay, now let's figure out the damage balancing here. So, we need to get to 45 per turn. With penance cast, let's assume we can do penance, and then multi-attack, 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 over the course of 3 turns. Eddie wanting us to switch over to a bit of rock instrumental? Yeah, let's do that. That should load up very shortly. There it is. Okay. So, I said it was 45 that we need to get. Now, we're getting 3 attacks in per turn, so we just need the attack here to reach a total of 15. So, this has gone up to 11 from the +4 increase there. That's 14 already in itself. I could just increase the damage done on this psychic to D8, and that makes that a 4, and that's job done. That actually reaches the remit. 11 plus 4 is 15. Multi-attack is 2, but with penance becomes 3. 15 times 3 is 45. 45 was the aim, 45 is what we got. The plus to hit is changed as well, and that's a +8, which is also bang on the mark. +8 is exactly what is advised for this level of character. It's perfect. Absolutely spot on. Don't need to do a darn thing with it. We got the skill upgrade there. The only thing that's missing is a saving throw. Because an adept gets a single saving throw. Saving throws. Let's see here. It's got to be wisdom, hasn't it? It's got to be wisdom. Can't pull the wool over the eyes of this one. So that is going to be a +8. Boom. I think that is a completed Harrow Adept right there. Yeah. Harrow, like many Warframes, is vulnerable in not having ranged attacks. I might change it up with the let's see, with the what did I call it? Master? Yeah, Masters. Yeah. You can tell it's been 7 weeks since I've done this. Passive Perception needs to be updated. Oh, thank you for catching that one. Passive Perception is now 22, because that's fair and balanced. Greymire, thank you for catching that. Okie dokie. So I've got the daily round 4 extra XP twice today. Hey, nice. That's lucky. Okay then, so my cheat sheet here says I need to give a +1 to all the stats except for Charisma for this tier, so that's nice and easy. That becomes a 20 for +5, that becomes a 12 for +1, that becomes a 16 for a +3, that becomes a 16 for a +3 as well, that becomes a 20 for a +5, and we don't touch Charisma. Lady will say so good at looking things. With that passive perception on the adept there, if you have a +2 bonus to stealth, you can get a natural 20 and still fail to hide from Harrow. That's how good that perception is. You can roll the absolute best bonus possible, or best result possible, with a small bonus in your favor, and it's still not good enough. Harrow will clock onto it. It also means that with the True Sight, Harrow doesn't have disadvantage due to darkness. So within that range, Harrow can just see. Yep. Vision's working just fine. They know what's going on. And I'm going to whack that up now. Let's bring that up to... Yeah, let's bring it up to 60 feet. Doesn't need to be anything too crazy. The stats that we are working towards as a goal here for this challenge rating 14. Challenge 14 has an XP of 11,500. Proficiency has gone up to a +5. Yeah, challenge 14, AC 17, HP 210 is our aim. Because this one is just straight across the board. Yeah, Jimmy, haven't you noticed I'm still writing this one? It's already correcting me when I was about to move off the Adept. We are literally in the process of writing up the Master. Come on now, Jimmy. Don't make me call back Grey. He's got plenty more Zerglings where those first ones came from. Audio Arc said, I feel like this would be a great monster to add to my current campaign. Would it be alright for me to make use of it? I mean, if you can catch enough of the details from the stream, you're welcome to do so. However, Audio Archon, what I would recommend instead is you check out the legitimate document I put out for you to enjoy already. You just scroll all the way down to the miscellaneous games section here, Warframes and Dungeons & Dragons Monsters. So this is over on my Discord. This is freely available. We've got a Google Drive link there, which gives you access to 4 tiers of Excalibur, Mag, Vault, Ash, Atlas, Banshee, Baruch, Caliban, Chroma, Ember, Equinox, and Frost. All of that in one single, completely free to access PDF. And I do mean completely free to access. So, with regards to that then, if you want to enjoy those in your D&D campaign, go right ahead. The document is there for you to try it out. And please let me know how it goes. I want to know as much as possible about how these encounters go, to know how the monsters balance, how they feel, how your players reacted, especially if your players don't know that they're Warframes. I want to see how it went. I've worked on a lot of these since I started. Yeah, just a few. Just a few. Absolutely. Throw these at your players. They don't even need to know. This is designed so that players who have no idea what Warframe is can still interact with them in Dungeons & Dragons perfectly fine. If they know what Warframe is, they'll be able to enjoy more kind of innate information about it, and let them have that. Knowing that Frost has ice-based powers and Vault has electric-based powers, it's only going to get them so far, believe you me. When you have a look at over the stat blocks, you'll see your players are in for a ride if they do not get some good in checks. Oh yes, indeed. Roleplayers a squad agree here on the wrong asteroid base. Oh, that would be a campaign starter, wouldn't it? You play Session 0 as the squad of Grenadier that gets absolutely torn apart. Or just the squad of soldiers somewhere that gets torn apart by these guys. And then, Session 1, you get into the campaign proper. The players are the actual adventurers now, tasked with defeating whatever the hell happened to this entire regiment that got wiped out. That could be one hell of a start to a campaign right there. Go for it. Absolutely go for it. Let the players know what the hell they're up against. I'm describing the start of the new war, in a sense. In a sense. Right then. Let's get cracking with these, shall we? I need to sort the rest of the stats up here. Where was I? So, yeah. Challenger 18, 14, 17 to 10. Yep, that is correct. The stats have been updated. Saving throws. I'm going to throw in another one now. What saving throw does it deserve next? It's Harrow. It needs the end. As much as it's not much of a caster focus, let's go with the in save. Because it's not fooled by the men in the wool. Int is now a +8. Wiz is actually a +10. That's beautiful. Perception will have increased now to a +15 because that's fair. This one is an 8. And what do I put alongside that? Perception, religion. What skill do we want to give him as well? I mean, Jibberty. Nothing stops you from just including different monsters, you know? If you play in the right game system, of course. Translating this to a different game system is your own problem, not mine. Jason say, part of my confusion, are we calculating the perception skill correctly? Seems like we're adding one bonuses twice. Did I miss a mention of expertise? You did miss it because yes. I decided that rather than giving Harrow another skill adept, I went straight into expertise. This is something I'm actually incorporating into more of the monsters. I did the same with Grendel. So giving them that expertise to really nail a stat, rather than complete a skill bloat all the time. I'm not doing it all over the place, but it feels like for Harrow, it's definitely very fitting. But we still need another skill along here. So, chat, what are we thinking? What skill should I add to Harrow to go alongside Perception Religion? What would be the next best skill that go with it? Grendel has a skill in culinary arts? Kind of. Grendel has, if I just scroll up here, the Grendel Prime has nature +17. Nature being just, you know, knowledge of the natural world and whatnot. Grendel really understands everything natural down to a T, because of course Grendel has studied literally everything he can and cannot consume. And so far he's found that the answer is he can consume everything. What does Harrow already have? Harrow has perception and religion. Probably good insight. That is a good shout. Yeah, let's go insight. Maybe Arcana or history? I'll pop history on the next one. History can go on the prime. Insight, then history. Yeah, let's do that. Insight. So that is going to be a +8. There we are. And the reason I'm putting it in front there is because it's alphabetical. True sight we've updated. Passive perception is now 25. That just seems unfair. I love it. Sometimes it is supposed to be unfair. Sometimes you do get counted. That's the whole point. Oh yeah, you did post the HP calc. You got 2088 plus 84. Thank you very, very much. 2088 plus 84. Sounds about right to me. Cool. Harrow's true sight is, as I said, 60 feet now. Beautiful. Passive perception is just yes, pretty much. Although, that said, at challenge 14, this is far from insurmountable. If you have just a basic skill, you know, a level 1 rogue could have a +3 in dexterity and then the +2 proficiency on their stealth. Give them expertise on that. I don't know if you get expertise at level 1. I remember. I think you do. But expertise would give them a +7 in total. That would be enough that they would have a 1 in 10 chance of hiding from Harrow. Oh yeah, insight's Wiz, not intelligence. What's wrong with me? Yeah, it's +10. Nope. Yeah, religion's int, insight is Wiz. Of course. Yeah, it is possible to hide from passive perception 25, which is why, as well, if players have a very high passive perception, DMs should not be scared of this. Let it happen. Seriously, so many DMs that go, oh, my player, they've got 23 passive perception, they're going to see everything now. Firstly, yes, they're supposed to. Holy shit, they have 23 passive perception, let them have it. Secondly, keep rolling those dice. If your monster has a +4 bonus to stealth and you roll the dice, once upon a time, they're going to crit. They're going to get the 20. They're going to have a 24 stealth against a 23 passive perception. You say to the player, no, you don't see anything. And the player, resolutely believing 23 will catch everything like an absolute idiot, goes, oh, well, there we are, guys. I'll just walk on forwards here. Oh dear, something just stabbed me. But DM, that's not right. How can something roll 20 +4? That's not a thing that happens. Yeah. My point being, passive perception isn't actually that crazy if something is actively working on trying to avoid it, but it does catch a very, very big bunch of stuff. Oh, absolutely. So, that aside, let's continue on, shall we? We got the penance. I need to change up the DC on this. This is now, let's see, int is 8, 16. That means this over here is going to be 16, and that is that side of things done, at least for the moment. Do I increase the size of this cone? Yeah, it's time to increase the size of the cone. We're getting into higher level territory. In fact, you know what? Screw 25, 30 feet. Let's make this a 4th level spell. Because of the increase in range, it's now a 4th level. Beautiful. Penance, I will also increase the damage it deals up from 15 to we'll do 25 damage to self, but the recovery is now 6 a time, and we'll make this a 5th level spell. Beautiful. Just a little bit of upgrading there. Meanwhile, the rogue in your last campaign had +13 to stealth. Exactly. So +13 to stealth means that on a 13 or higher, they will get past this Harrow Master. Now, 13 is a big ask, but at challenge 14, you know, both your rogue and its allies should have things to help out, like Pass Without Trace you can get hold of, or even things like, guidance. There are ways to get past it. Just like whatever that was, got past my eyelashes and it got into my eye, god damn it. I think I got it. Yeah, but the thing is that the way you can't get past it is invisibility. If the players do only a little bit of research, like, oh yeah, we found out that Harrow's very good at seeing things. Well, we just won't be seen then, will we? Harrow's just going to look over at the attempted quiet walking through the door, just be like, you realise I can see you, right? Bonk. Bonk with Dread Mace. So yeah, it's wonderful. Alright, I am not sadistic. I just make things fun and challenging. Thurible. Spell. 1 action. Again, I like the 1 minute duration. It basically just lasts for the encounter, because most encounters are done with 10 turns. So yeah. With that perception, you probably get the sound. Yeah, there's that, of course. Walking invisible, gets grabbed by Condemn immediately. Yup. And then you're there, invisible, held by chains that are maybe there, maybe not there. It's an intelligence save, and the players clearly weren't intelligent because they tried to use invisibility against Harrow. So, they're screwed. They're held there, they're like, fuck! And Harrow just comes in with the bonk stick. Don't give him a pet with animal instinct. Harrow is the animal instinct here, apparently. Okay, so, Thurible. Harrow channels. Arcane, yeah, just go with Arcane. Arcane is good, we don't really understand it word. Harrow channels arcane energy through is magical Thurible. There is Thurible. Shinigyo, thank you very, very much for the 600 bits there, appreciate it. Cheers. Ooh. Eddie's saying the way Ken says Harrow sounds like it sounds like Taro. Also, Bonbongo Torn in jail. Fair. Divine energy? Divine! There is nothing divine about the void. Make no mistake, Harrow may look in some ways priestly. He may be swinging a throwable, but there is no god he answers to. Harrow is beyond such sunny days and chipper thoughts. No. Harrow deals with the darker side of reality, where the walls between this and the other become so thin that you can peer beyond them. And he sees Limbo doing a brilliant breakdance. So, Harrow channels an arcane energy through its Thurable. As much as Warframes have genders in Warframe, here I am not gendering them. It's important to me. So, Harrow channels arcane energy through its Thurable. Swinging it around in a ritual motion. Let's see. Harrow continues this action for as long as desired, using an yeah, so Harrow continues this action for as long as desired. I want him to use actions on future turns, so using an action on subsequent turns to maintain the ritual casting. Not a bonus, this one's an action, because Harrow's locking himself into it while swinging that around. Trust the process on this one. I've got a plan. So Harrow continues this action for as long as desired, using an action on subsequent turns to maintain the ritual casting. While casting this spell, Harrow cannot take other actions or bonus actions. There's a dangerous words, Ken. I have a plan is generally grounds for fear in TTRPGs. Well, given that I am the taking the role not just DM in this case, but the person that the DMs refer to, yeah, that should instill a bit of fear. That should instill just a teeny tiny little bit of fear. So, yeah. Right then. While casting a spell, Harrow cannot take other actions or bonus actions. Spell duration only takes effect. Only starts when Harrow chooses to finish channeling. Cast. That is going across 2 pages. Let me just do a little thing. Oh, that fixed it. Line. Do I need a BR for that? I think I need a BR for that for it to work properly. Alright. Once cast, Harrow and its allies within, let's say 60 feet. Actually, yeah. Yeah, because I'm tying various abilities here to ability scores. So yeah. Well, not ability scores, to other values. So True Sight, 60 feet. Pendant, 60 feet. This 60 feet as well. So once cast, Harrow and its allies within 60 feet gain an increased critical range. Oh, yes. Wait, no. I think I've... Oh, yeah. Have I thought this is the wrong ability? No. No, that's the wrong one. Critical range is on the 4th one. Sorry, my bad. How is it its range? I crossed my lines over. Too early on the reveal. My bad. Thurable. Yeah. No. Yeah. Ah, I got my wires crossed. Too early on the reveal. So, once cast Harrow. What was it, this one? In-game, this grants extra energy, which is a thing of 5e. Yeah. So, my plan on this one was to go down a different road. What is energy used for in Warframe? Hello, Poké9. How you doing? What is energy used for in Warframe? This is a very simple question, so I'm sure anyone can answer it, but why is energy used for in Warframe? Restore spell slots? We're not using spell slots. Is this going to be bonus actions on kill or equal amount spent? Casting abilities. Correct. Now, let's abstract that even further. Why are we casting abilities? Why are we casting abilities? Cast abilities to kill the enemy. Overcome the enemies. Exactly. Overcome the enemies. So rather than having to go through the steps of, well, you generate energy, and then the energy generates abilities, and the abilities generate a thing, we could just abstract right past that, and we channel straight into deadly power. So once cast, Harrow has channeled all of that energy through his thurible, creating this brimming aura within him, and then he can unleash that in all of his attacks. We bypass the whole energy is spell slots and spell slots is spells and spells deal damage or things like that. We just go straight from cast thurible, get power. We're channeling energy, we're channeling spell power into pure weapon badassery. Cut out the middleman. Why are you now only being given an intro message? Because Twitch is terrible. Welcome again anyway, Pokéniner. Yeah, Twitch is stupid. So, once cast, Harrow collapses the channeled is 2 L's? I think it's 2 L's. Channeled energy into its Dread Mace. For the spell duration, Harrow deals an additional, we'll need to figure out such damage, some amount of psychic damage on each hit. Now this is completely different from Thurible in Warframe. I understand that. We've got the channeling aspect, so swinging it around, swing, swing, swing. The longer you hold it, the more powerful it gets. And that is what we're going to be doing here, is Harrow deals an additional on each hit for each turn, it's for each action spent on casting this spell. So seeing his allies add amount of psychic damage, not allies as well, no. This will be just Harrow. This is just Harrow. I'm going to look into the numbers and see how much to give it. This is part of why it's just Harrow, is to make sure we can still keep within the actual aims and not create anything ridiculously overpowered. Crit ranges we can get away with when it's on the primes. On the primes, all bets are off. Let's face it, players have access to Wish by that point and they can deal with it. But this tier, we still want to keep some level of balance, especially if Harrow's going to be a Harrow Master. Could be a boss fight. Might be a boss fight for level 10 players, perhaps. And so in that case, we do need to keep some level of balance into it. Actually, do I want to go do damage on hit, or is that... No, well, actually, I can... It's a bit basic. I'm going to take that a slightly different route. For the spell duration... Harrow... Capital. Harrow's Dread Mace attacks create a psychic implosion. I'm going with implosion because it just sounds cooler. Nothing else about it. Psychic Implosion on hit. All creatures, all hostile creatures within 5 feet of the hit creature, including itself, just to be very clear, must make an intelligence saving throw. DC at this point is 5, 8, 16. On a failed save, each creature takes... we'll figure it out some amount of psychic damage per action spent channeling this spell. Or casting this spell. Okay. That's how it starts with itself? No. Within 5 feet of the hit creature, including itself. All hostile creatures within 5 feet of the hit creature, including itself, must make an intelligence saving throw. I hope that's clear enough, Jason. Seems clear enough to me. Have you just missed that bit? All hostile creatures within 5 feet of the hit creature, including itself, must make an intelligence saving throw. Just so it's clear that it doesn't hit the creature and then explode around them, but safely not touch the creature that got smacked with a mace. Is that clear to everyone? Implies the creature is sent with burst. It affects both all hostile creatures, but also hurts itself. Yeah. The hit creature. Yeah. All creatures hostile to Harrow. How about I do that? All creatures... oh, no, I don't need to do that because I've been saying hostile creatures all along to refer to creatures which are hostile to the caster. Once cast, Harrow collapses the channeled energy into its Dread Mace. For the spell duration, Harrow's Dread Mace attacks create a psychic implosion on hit. All hostile creatures within 5 feet of the hit creature, including itself, must make an intelligence saving throw. When you say itself, you thought it was referring to Harrow? That's why you read the whole sentence. Where is Scourge and Nell? We sold them off to afford more pink hearts next to the help out button. Am I doing this in Markdown? Sort of. Kind of. I'm using a website known as the Home Brewery. And this is allowing me to basically create a very D&D looking page or document out of this. It's just kind of Markdown. Yeah, that seems to read clear enough to me. Once cast, Harrow collapses the channeled energy into its Dread Mace. For the spell duration, Harrow's Dread Mace attacks create a psychic implosion on hit. All hostile creatures within 5 feet of the hit creature. All hostile creatures, at this point we're referring still to Harrow. We haven't specified anything else. All hostile creatures within 5 feet of the hit creature, including itself, must make an intelligence saving throw. Makes sense to me. On a failed save, each creature takes some amount of psychic damage per action spent casting the spell. So, the thing is to convert those actions then. Now we're at this tier here. We're looking at dealing at least 70 damage per round across 3 rounds. This is going to be the crazy bit. Targeting all hostile creatures within 5 feet. That works too. That works too. Okay. The target and all hostile creatures within 5 feet of it. So the target and all hostile creatures within 5 feet of it must make an intelligence saving throw. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that works. Okay. Cool. This is expensive to cast. At least one action, potentially many actions. But But it needs to lock in for it, yeah. Yeah. That's the whole design as it locks in. Each creature takes 5d6. I mean, you might not be wrong on that one. You might not be wrong. We are dealing with challenge rating 14 here. So, like, this could be doing a bit. But let's see. We'd expect the Dread Mace to be hitting 3 attacks just because Penance can be activated, so that's not a problem. The Dread Mace should already be at a +5 because of the change in stats. Let's just increase all of those, just so we got those out of the way. And the basic psychic damage, I want to increase this to a d10, just as a matter of course, because I like the linearity of the scaling. AoEs assume 2 targets, Jason, not 3. Certainly for something only 5 foot, you'd only ever assume 2. But yeah, so we got 17 base on the attack there. Now, I'm going to break the normal encounter math and see how this pans out in different ways. Wouldn't Thunderbolt make more sense as a concentration spell to fit better into D&D action economy? Be hard to imagine monsters prepping combat. How is it hard to imagine monsters prepping combat? What makes you think that monsters can't prepare for combat? Everyone else can. Players can. Players' allies can. What says that monsters can't? Not to mention that, in case you've never read about it, Tucker's Kobolds, monsters definitely do prepare for combat when you get the right ones. And this is an intelligent monster. The monsters know, you know. So I don't really understand elsewise on that. If Harrow's given the opportunity, if the players are deliberating or fucking around, Harrow can condemn them, hold them in place, then just channel. Here's the Dread Mace. I'm going to smack you with it, and it's going to hurt. You're about to discover a whole new word beyond migraine. If the players let Harrow do that, that's the player's problem. That ain't Harrow's problem. And sure as shit ain't the DM's problem. So yeah. If you've never come across a preparing monster, you've been lucky. Or maybe your DM just wasn't creative enough. Migraine about to become your grain. Love it, Ladybug, love it. Right, so, we're looking for 210 damage over the course of 3 rounds, one way or the other. So let's see how we can do this. If Harrow just attacks with Dread Mace 3 times over the course of 3 turns, what do we already get? We get 12 plus 5 is 17. 17 3 times is 51. 51 3 times is 153. I think I've done that right? No, 17 3. Yeah, 153 damage. So we are definitely already behind. So we do need to ramp this up, and we need to ramp it up hard. Over the course of 6 attacks, if we channel for 1 turn and then do 2 lots of Dread Mace casting 3 times, or hitting 3 times, 1 plus 5 is 17, 51, 102 base. So we'd need to deal about double damage. Okay. And then if we have 50, we're trying for we need to do about quadruple damage. Okay. So, how am I going to do this? Yeah. Let's aim to add on around about... Yeah, let's add on around about the 17 or so damage in total. But we want to split that across 2 characters. So if we aim for about 18 damage total, 9 per person, that should be balanced. That should be balanced, yeah. And 9 we can achieve that through 2d8 psychic. If we're moving this up to d10s, sod it, let's go 2d10. 11. It's slightly higher than intended, but you know what? That works. If the players let this happen, the players let this happen. It's a little bit powerful, but it is still just melee attacks after all, you know. Yeah. 2d10. Each creature takes 11 2d10 psychic damage per action spent casting this spell. I feel like I need to get out a notepad for this, so I'm going to do exactly that. Just to verify and help you keep along with what I'm doing here. So, option 1. Mace 3 times. That is not how you spell either of those words. Mace, oh dear. Mace 3 times, 3 turns. All we're doing is macing. We've got the hit of 12, and we've got the psychic of 5, the 17 per hit. 3 hits is 51. Times 3 turns, we get 153, which is just not enough. So we're trying to incentivize Harrow to do a bit more than that. Option 2. 1 turn of Thorrible. Then Mace for 2 turns. And again, we're assuming we also cast Independence, so we get the triple hits. It's a bonus action, so it's perfectly doable. So then, we get 12 plus 5 plus 11. Let's do for 1 target first. 1 target. 12 plus 5 plus 11. That is going to come out to 17 plus 11 is 28 per hit. Times 3 hits. Pause. Just want to say, you should consider an Easter egg ability that temporarily replaces Dread Mace with Bear Mace. Where would I put that? What? Do you think I'm coding a video game? Otherwise, I'm really confused as to how you think that works. Sorry, I just... Huh? I'm gonna move on from that. 3 hits, 28... What's that? 60, 84. Return. And 2 turns of that. That comes out to 168. So we've got more damage even dealing with a single target there over the course of 3 turns. It's just they're backloaded, so that is a good idea. 84 damage from those 3 hits? Yeah. I bet it is challenge rating 14, so you know it's allowed to mess around a bit. Oh, is it Flo? Oh, okay. Easter egg abilities aren't supposed to make sense. Also, yes, definitely a joke. I'm just wondering how I'd even fit in the idea of an Easter egg of that type in here. Sorry, I'm trying to actually consider what you're suggesting as a suggestion rather than an offhanded joke. Sorry. Right, 2 targets. Let's just focus on that. So we now have 12 plus 5 plus 11 plus 11 to the secondary target, which equals a total of 39 damage per hit. Which over the course of 3 hits, that is going to be 90 plus 27 is 117 per turn. Per turn, there we are. Which over 2 turns, that's going to come out to 234 damage. And we'd said that we're looking at 70 times 3 for 210. So it's a little bit over. But also at the same time, if you stand next to your ally and allow this explosion to happen that many times over, that's kind of on you. Like, this is telegraphed. Harrow is charging up an attack. Harrow is moving towards you. Harrow smacks you and creates an explosion around the 2 of you. Do you continue to stand next to each other? No. So that shouldn't keep happening. But if they allowed it to happen, then tough titties, Harrow is going to ruin your day. We're not going to calculate 3 targets because if your players are that daft to all pile up next to each other and allow Harrow to just kind of tear through them, your players are idiots. Yeah. Jim wants to say, you could just make it simple. If Harrow rolls 3 natural 1s in a turn, he spends the next turn wielding Bear Mace, which could be written just to give it a permanent aura of heat, or maybe poison or acid damage. Okay, Ginger Monster, and where should I put that? Just for comparison, this is Jaya Prime. This is Jaya's entire thing. Should I fill in this space with another rule for a DM to follow? Optional if... It just, yeah. Shouldn't take it seriously. There's a problem with completely off-the-cuff non-serious suggestions when I'm building a thing like this is that I don't know how I'm supposed to respond to that. I don't know what you want me to say or do, or how you even anticipate that going. I don't know if I'm alone in thinking this, but like, do you want me to ignore you? Do you want me to go, and then just move on? I'm really lost as to what this entire concept of the bear mace Easter egg is supposed to be, aside from, haha, funny moment I thought of this. I don't do that kind of stuff. So it doesn't make sense to me. Sorry. I'm trying, I really am. I'm trying and I'm just failing. Every bit of thought I put into it, it's just rolling a 1. Harrow the bane of low intelligence melee fighters? Yep. Makes sense, really. That makes sense, Ginger. That makes sense. Alright then, where were we? Yeah, on the map of it. So, we got the option 1, just basic. Well, option 2 versus 1 target and 2 targets. We see how the damage scales up. It doesn't double the damage, but it does increase the damage if there's more targets around. That's cool. Option 3, 2 turns of Thorrible, then mace. I keep doing that maxing. Mace for 1 turn. Now let's see how that turns out. Against 1 target, we have the 12 on the hit, plus the 5 psychic on the hit, plus now 22 damage from the special. That comes out to 39 per hit. Times 3 hits. That's only going to come out to 117 total damage done. So that would be a poor idea. But if we have 2 targets, we now have 12 plus 5 plus 44. It's 22 to each of them. 39, 49, 29, 61 per hit. Times 3 hits, that comes out to 183. Again, that's scaling down. Okay, so if it's in the moment, Harrow's not going to want to cast Thorrible for more than 1 turn. But if Harrow can get it off ahead of the combat, or if Harrow's given any kind of additional time to work with, such as using Condemn, then Harrow can get more out of it, potentially. Okay, so do we have a theoretical power spike here, and then this can go higher as well if there's multi-targets? I think it works out. I hope. Maybe. Gift Gabby saying, hi, I'm Gift. Nice to meet you. Also, how are you doing today? Hope you're well. I am doing well. Thank you very much for asking. Hope you're doing well yourself, or you have said that you are doing well. Did you? No, wait. Oh, you said nice to meet me. I took it all as loads of positive. I hope you are doing well yourself. In any case, welcome in, Gift. Welcome on in. Right. This is a curious set of results, not gonna lie. So Harrow can just whack, whack, whack. If there's 1 target nearby, then Harrow could channel for 1 turn and then smack out them, and it works out better. If there's 2 targets nearby, again, still channeling for 1 turn works out, but if he happens to channel that bit extra, it can catch them by surprise, potentially. Maybe you get more out of it. And if Harrow's just got setup time, whether prior to the fight or just holds them down and can use Condemn, then Harrow can get some crazy stuff done. Yeah. I think this can work. I think this can work. I don't want to overtune this one, especially with what I'm going to be doing with Harrow Prime. I'm happy to leave this one as still kind of pretty nasty, especially with the whole perception, true sight. That's going to give some value to him that others won't have, yeah. Excuse Flame, say hello, welcome. I like watching Warframe content and playing the game. I have no pronouns, absolutely none. Fair enough then. Welcome in Execution. Jason, to the idea of him channeling his prior to combat, do we want a ceiling for this maximum benefit for actions equal to proficiency bonus? Good point. You know what? I can seal that a different way, Jason. I put the spell duration only starts when Harrow chooses to finish channeling the cast. No. Spell duration begins when starting to cast. with each action. It's just, yeah. Harrow can take over actions during that spell duration begins when starting to cast. I might just put an info box below this one, then just say, for every action Harrow is channeling Thurible, Harrow will not be able to use Thurible, and the spell will effectively run out sooner. Beware of this so as not to overcharge it. Yeah, I think that would work. You stick to your stomach, accidentally ate some food you're allergic to. Oh, that's an unfortunate gift. Sorry to hear that. I hope you get well soon. I think that should work. Let's grab the info box. How does that one work? It's just indent triple hash. Cool. Indent triple hash. Charging Thurible. Thurible duration begins immediately on channeling. But Harrow can continue to channel with subsequent actions. So best case, they condemn the party, cast Thurible for 4 turns, spend the remaining 6 turns wrecking face. Pretty much, yeah. Assuming the party don't get out. And also, whilst they are condemned, yeah, they're restrained, but they can still fight. But they are also restrained, so it's going to hurt. That's the idea. Restrain really limits them, but it doesn't stop them from acting. It just makes it hard. I think restraint doesn't even affect spellcasting at all, does it? Restrained. Speed becomes 0. Can't benefit from speed. Attacks against have advantage. Creature has disadvantage on attack rolls. Creature has disadvantage on dex saves, which we're not even using, by the way. So, fun fact, using the intelligence saves actually means that restrained is even weaker. Does any Warframe I've made have a grouping ability? Oh yeah, Jaya definitely does. Certain that one, doesn't it? Jaya, let me see. That should be Core Horizon. Jaya generates a small ball of lightning, rolls it towards a point it can see. Hostile creatures in path must make a dex save. When the ball reaches target point, it implodes. Hostile creatures within... I love using what implodes, apparently. Hostile creatures within 30 feet must make a strength save. On failure, the creature is forcefully dragged to the closest empty space to the implosion, knocked prone, and takes damage. On its next turn, the creature must spend twice as much movement if it attempts to stand up. So, yes, I do. How's that for a Coil Horizon? Damage along the way, damage when it implodes, and if you get sucked into it, it's going to be even harder to stand up as well. Costing literally all of your movement if you don't dash. Or unless you have some special movement ability. How's that for a grouping ability? So, Thurible's duration begins immediately on channeling, but Harrow can continue to channel with subsequent actions. This means if Harrow channels for 2 turns, it will only be able to use to benefit from Thurible for the remaining 8 turns. Consider this carefully if Harrow casts Thurible ahead of an encounter. Of course, we would imagine Jaya group them and Harrow smacking the whole party at once. Oh yeah. That is definitely a synergy that can terrify the players, especially as Core Horizon is Jaya's second ability. So you can have a Jaya Adept and a Harrow Master working together. That'll be a very tough encounter, don't get me wrong there. And yeah, that could work. In fact, let me see. Jaya Adept is challenge 9. Harrow Master is challenge 14 is the estimate I'm going for here. Let's just have a quick look. Kobold Fight Club. If we have, let me get rid of, what is all of this lot? It's just a random encounter? Encounter, yeah. If we grab in then things of matching challenge rating. So 9 and a 14. Let's see. So that would be a hard fight, apparently, for a party of level 16s and 17s. It would become a medium fight if they're level 18. And it would be boss fight tier as high as level 14. In fact, it would be beyond. That would be terrifying for them. Level 15s, it would be a tough fight. Yeah. And 14, a devastating fight. And that is to fight Challenge 14 and Challenge 9 together. So there you go. If you've got a party of level 14, 15 players, then a Gyre Adept and Harrow Master would just be really quite the fight that makes them go, oh my god, we are not prepared for this. Very, very much so. Especially because, you know, Gyre loves bringing everything together and then annihilating it. Gyre is very, very good at that. Right, anyway. I'm going on like a million asides there. Charge of Throwable. Throwable's duration begins immediately on channeling, but Harrow can continue to channel with subsequent actions. This means if Harrow channels for 2 turns, it will only be able to benefit from Throwable for the remaining 8 turns. Consider this carefully if Harrow casts Throwable ahead of an encounter. I think that sells the point of just exactly how the duration works here, without having to shove it into the stat block all the way through. It's just a little aside of, you know, be ready for this, it's going to come up. But then that also fixes in all that damage. How am I handling augments during these workshops? Sparingly. I'm taking the ability mostly as it is, or the most interesting way that it can be considered. In some cases, I'm using augments. So for example, I think with Ash, I've used a couple of augments on him because, let's face it, Shuriken on its own is a terrible ability. Oh, you throw out 2 Shurikens, they do a little bit of damage. Okay. Where's the rest of the ability, please? So, that's changed. Otherwise, yeah. I'd say a fight where the objective isn't as much to win as would be to not get wiped. I mean, that's pretty much every fight, really. When it comes to encounters, you're not looking to kill the monsters, you are looking to defeat the monsters. You are looking to succeed at your goals, whilst preventing the goals of those who would try to stop you from succeeding. Sometimes that's as simple as scaring off the monster. Sometimes it's just getting them to back down. But yeah. Shuriken's just magic missile with only 2 darts? Pretty much, yeah. Shuriken is a bonkersly bad ability in Warframe. And so, translating it over, I believe I did include a little bit of armor reduction as a focus, so AC reduction here. But yeah, we've got our Harrow Master kind of developing. Let's check over the stats now. For starters, I didn't put down that it can cast this spell. So, Throwable. This is powerful. Considering how high you can take it, this is definitely powerful, so I'm going to go 7th level. This is not a spell to be messing around with, so that definitely deserves that. The reason I'm asking about augments is because Warding Throwable will be very easy to implement. That's not a bad shout, actually. Allies in range take 50% less damage while channeling Throwable, grants additional energy. We could ignore the energy bit. Take 50% less damage. Yeah, I could just put resistance in there, couldn't I? Yeah, while casting this spell, Harrow has resistance to give the player something to work with. I'm just going to go physical damage. So yeah, Harrow has resistance to what's it called? Slashing, piercing, and bludgeoning damage, but cannot take other actions or bonus actions. There we go. Is it bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing? Okay, whatever. Which, yeah, it's good to get it the right way around. Sorry. Bludgeoning. Oh god, what? I bludgeoned the spelling of that. bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. I do know how to spell. Jason said, running numbers might need to play a test, but throwable might not be strong enough. Even with 4 stacks, it's only going to do 183 on a single target, but AoE is taking 132 of their own. Sorry, what exactly are you figuring there? If you've stacked it up, 4 stacks per attack, so we got 4 lots of 11, so that's 44. On 2 targets, we got 88. On 3 attacks, that's 264 total. On top of the 3 attacks themselves dealing a 17 3 times over, so plus 17 times 3, that's a total of 315 damage. Granted that this is supposed to be an enemy which can deal 70 damage per round if we're aiming on a pure damage basis. 4 rounds of charging, plus then the actual activation there, that's 5 rounds. That comes out to 63 damage, which is not terribly far off. 63 damage, to say that if Harrow's doing that, they must be in a situation where they feel pretty confident they've got the time to pull this off. Now that sounds pretty reasonable to me. It's a little bit lower than the aim, but I'd rather it be a little bit lower than a little bit higher. Because Harrow's not supposed to be a nuker. So I'm quite okay with how that's balancing out at the moment, especially as when we get into the Prime. Because the Prime is where I'm going to throw balance out of the window. I'm going to do a DE and just throw in numbers, mostly, until they seem right. And then just never balance it again, because that's also what DE does. Is this Harrow intended to be specifically a solo fight? Not necessarily, no. If not, it might be worth including some aspects of his kit that can help allies. His allies helping bit is pretty much only going to be Condemn and Covenant. Actually, and also Penance. Penance heals his allies. So I've already got it, Ginger Monster. The only thing that's not there is Warding Throwable isn't giving the defense to his allies, and I'm fine with that, to be honest. Well, Jimmy, I haven't got a Thermal Sunder on this Harrow. That's why. But yeah, we've already got Condemn, which is restraining creatures. That gives Harrow's allies advantage to hit them, and the attacks they may be receiving have disadvantage. We got Penance, which is healing them, and now we're going to have Covenant. I'd say that Harrow's already interacting with his allies a fair amount there. That's more than you get from a lot of monsters in D&D. Tell me there's no ESO for power leveling in D&D? How? ESO? I just... where do I even begin with that one? I'm just going to leave you with that. I know it's tongue-in-cheek, so I'm just going to leave you with it. Right then, Challenge 19. We're at 2 now, which has an AC aim of 19. 285 hit point aim, so let's do that. I'll let Jason work his magic. Prime suggestions. Each enemy condemned grants Harrow temporary hit points. Multi-attack stats, 3 attacks, thermal 3d10. Just ideas. Trust me. We'll want to consider Covenant first. We'll want to consider Covenant first. Alright then, my cheat sheet for information says it's +1 across the board in terms of the stats here, so let's do exactly that. Speed also increases to 45 feet for these primes. I'm happy to continue doing that one. Let's grab you. Let's grab you. There are probably some players who've not played enough D&D going, wait, how is that number going over 20? That's illegal. Nope. Not even for players, it's not illegal. Boom, there we are, that's across the board. Saving throws, strength. For someone so strong in strength, let's give them strength. Why not? All in. Should I be putting commas between these? What did I do with Jaya? I put commas between them. Why have I not been putting commas between them? Silly me. Oops. There we are. Alright then, that was easily fixed. So, let's increase the true sight. Let's make it 90 feet, because I can. Easy peasy.
You're all right, Doc.
Yo, Shinigyo, thank you very much for the 75 bits. I appreciate that. Is that a calculated bit? No, it's not. Okay, I was wondering. Are you trying to trigger out of there? But no. Thank you very much for the 75 bits. I appreciate it. Joseph did say we can go for... yeah, let's give him the extra few hit points then. So 34 d8 plus 136. Cool. Sounds about right. Your math has been fine so far, so I trust you. Boom. Okay, I'm checking it. I've said it now, and Sod's Law will be the one time. 34 times, that's 4.5, say 8, 29. Yeah, you are correct, it's fine. I trust. Trust but verify. Right then. Stats. So the strength is not a plus 11. We are going to challenge 19. Which, by the way, is... That's not the one I wanted. I'm getting rid of you. I don't need that anymore. Challenge 19 is 22,000 plus 6. There we go. So strength is actually a plus 12. The intelligence is now a plus 10. The wisdom is now plus 12 on the saving throws. Beautiful. Perception has jumped to plus 18 because screw you, basically. Religion is a plus 10. Insight is a plus 12. Passive perception is therefore a 28. Passive perception 28. Jim, you say, was that a DM that thought you could have player scores go over 20 as long as it's during character creation? He also had us roll a d20 to determine each stat. That's horrible. That's no, what? Did your DM just never read the books at all? Wow. Okay. So there you go. Thank you very much for the 75 bits. Not trying to start a bit war? Okay. Thanks for the reassurance. I appreciate it. Right. Do we add another skill in? We do add another skill in. What skill do we... Oh, yeah, we said history, wasn't it? History will go here. History is a plus 12. That's 10, Ken. Plus 12. There we are. Beautiful. I got my alphabet wrong. Ta-da! You didn't play with that group wrong. Understandable, Jimmy. Understandable. Yeah, I remember joining a one-shot once. This was an online one. And we were all level 3. All of us level 3. I wonder if you can guess. I can't actually remember the challenge rating, so I wonder if you can guess the challenge rating of the monster we came across first. All level 3. It was a zombie beholder. Or beholder zombie. Challenge rating 5 in itself is not actually that much of a problem. The problem is when you introduce to low levels a challenge rating above their level, is that their damage is pretty damn nasty. For example, Disintegration Ray. Make a dexterity saving throw or take 45 force damage. If it reduces you to 0 hit points, you are disintegrated into a pile of dust. 45! 45 force damage. Let me tell you, level 3 characters do not have 45 hit points. You don't. You don't survive that. That hits you at level 3, you're done. And it's force damage, like, that just carves through basically everything. Needless to say, I was not best pleased with that. I was playing a multi-class of, what was it? I think I had 1 level fighter, 2 levels of sorcerer. I was messing around with stuff. 1 level fighter, 2 levels of sorcerer. And that happened. I most like the music. Just ended. Why did the music just end? What happened? Okay, it was syncing. One of the tracks does that. Every time I check it myself, it doesn't do that. So I don't know. Anyway, enough of that. Point is, yeah, we all have poor experiences. Any beholder stat block already punches well above its weight class? Oh yeah. It's strange that D&D created this whole thing of challenge ratings, And then they just didn't follow it. Wait, hang on. Let's bring that back here. Let's bring that back. I'm gonna go down this road now. Okay. This Beholder Zombie can reasonably hit with, say, let's just say 3 of these rays. Any 3 of them. So we got 45 damage, 36 damage, and then these 2 don't actually do damage. So that's fine. So 36 and 45, that comes out to 81 damage, which over the course of 3 turns, divide that down, is what, 27? 27, yeah. Puts it challenge rating 5. Seems perfectly fine, doesn't it? Hit points, 93. If we have a look here, 93, yep. Challenge rating 5. AC 14, 15, it's about fine. Damage immunity's poisoned, condition immunity's poison and prone. It's fine. It's only got a with +2 save. Perfectly handleable. So they're like, yep. That's fine. We'll just aim for about the average damage. Nothing could go wrong there. 45 damage, and if it hits you to 0, you just insta-die. I just say, that doesn't quite add up. That just doesn't add up. So yeah, the balancing in D&D is a bit dangerous, and so throwing challenges above the level of a player at them is very, very risky. It's always better to use more monsters and spread out the attacks than it is to let 45 just hit or miss, and death happens. Because technically it is a challenge 5 monster. Doesn't bloody well feel like one. Anyway, enough of that. Harrow Prime. Let's make Harrow Prime happen. Saving throws are done, skills are done, passive perception and whatnot's done. That's all done. Bullet jump. Once per turn, Harrow may turn and jump into a bullet jump. Jumping as if it had a run up and able to cover 3 times the distance. Reason being is that all primes get even more distance. That's my ruling. So, 9 triples to 27 vertical, or a horizontal of 66. And you can see why I have given them more speed now, because they couldn't even dash with 30 feet to get that full horizontal. So this is now a Warframe that can, without any run-up, without doing anything else, just jumps upwards 27 feet into the air. That's how high their feet will clear off the ground, 27 feet. For those of you who don't work in freedom units, 27 feet is about 8 meters up. 9 meters? No, I thought it's 30 centimeters. Yeah, 8.1. About 8 meters up. That's pretty terrifying. Also, when you consider that 66 horizontal there, that's going to put it around about, what's that? 20 meters horizontal? That's quite the distance. Like, you can imagine just casually spinning this throwable around 20 meters away, 66 feet away, they're across the chasm. Player's like, what do we do with this one? He's not attacking, he's just spinning that thing. Is he praying? Is he trying to communicate with us? What's he doing? And the player's just sitting there dumbfounded. The DM's like, well, I mean, if none of you are gonna pass your intelligence checks, I can't really help you on this one. Alright, puts away the horrible, draws his mace, and then just does an Emperor Palpatine, rah! Right across the gap and just starts smacking away. Basically full Palpatine at that point. So, yeah, introduce that to your players. Tell them Ken sent you. It'll be a fun one. Right then, DC on the intelligence is now... Oops, 6, that's 18. Let's update all of these DCs, or 2 of them, to 18. That one and that one. We don't need to make any other changes to these spells at this point, I don't think. We'll just leave those there. We'll figure them out in a moment if any changes are necessary to reach the levels we want. Covenant. Spell. 1 action. Lasts for 1 minute. I know it looks a bit basic, but it works, so we're going with it. HARROW HARROW releases itself from unseen spectral chains. HARROW releases itself from unseen spectral chains, briefly enabling, briefly unlocking, briefly unburdening it and granting, briefly unburdening it and empowering its allies. Let's go with that. So HARROW releases itself from unseen spectral chains, briefly unburdening it, what is that? Unburdening it, and empowering its allies. I know how to spell. Until the start of HARROW's next turn, HARROW and all allies within, and all its allies within 90 feet have resistance to all damage. All of it. I'm not going to go for immunity, that's boring. That's what players get in Warframe. We're just going to go with resistance. Just ramp it up a bit. Right then. Yeah. At the start of HARROW's next turn, each creature, each ally affected by the spell becomes infused power of Covenant, increasing their critical range. A creature's critical range is now 19 to 20. Or 18 to 20 if it has advantage or received damage during the resistance phase of Covenant. If both apply, the creature's critical range is 17 to 20. This is the idea I have so far. This I've not really thought it through too much. It's something that's kind of been floating around and wanted to run with it and see how best we can implement it. This is the idea I've got so far. So you start off with HARROW casting the spell. HARROW and all allies gain resistance to all damage. If they would take any damage, rather than the universal application that HARROW does, if that creature took any damage, then the crit range bonus it gets, instead of it being a +1 increase, and 19 and 20 is a crit, it's a +2 for 18, 19, 20 to be a crit. And if the creature has advantage, or if the creature has advantage, it's also going to get that bonus. Stack the two together, you get 17, 18, 19, 20, all four of which are crits. The bits I'm working with there, advantage being the whole, like you're aiming for headshots. Advantage, you've got an easier time hitting, similar to aiming for the headshot in Warframe, you get in the bigger results. So that's what I'm kind of putting together there. And then the taking damage bit, as I say, it's working with the whole Covenant, gives more crits for damage blocked, but not scaling it up to insane amounts. So one, the DM doesn't have to track as much, and two, the players have something they can actively work with. If they've got, say, 3 enemies in front of them, they've got HARROW, they've got one that's doing lots of attacks, and then one's casting loads of spells, they know from their research, okay, when HARROW does that Covenant thing, attack the spellcaster. Because if we attack the melee dude, we're just going to make his crits more powerful, and that's stupid. So it gives players a little bit to think about and try to interact with. Who do we target? If they've thought far enough ahead. If they've done no research and they're just coming in blindly, well, then they're just going to ruin their day, aren't they? And that's the whole point with these Warframes is, the less the players learn, the less the players know, the more likely they are going to be just raked over the coals by the Warframe. That's the idea. So, Harrow releases itself, runs the spectral chains, briefly unburdening it and empowering its allies. Until the start of Harrow's next turn, Harrow and all its allies within 90 feet have resistance to all damage. At the start of Harrow's next turn, each ally affected by the spell becomes infused with the power of Covenant, increasing their critical range. A creature's critical range is now 19 to 20, or 18 to 20 if it has advantage on its attack, or receive damage during the resistance phase of Covenant. If both apply, the creature's critical range is 17 to 20. I open it up to you guys. What's your thoughts? How does that sound? As far as, you know, taking Covenant as it exists in Warframe, translating it to D&D in a way that is fun for players to engage with, or engage against, but also still reasonably terrifying. How does it sound? This is supposed to be a big old buffer. I'm wondering if I should maybe switch it to a bonus action, just on the basis of Harrow's actions are pretty contested at this point. Exactly, Jason. Normally +1 crit range, 2 if they have advantage to attack, or they took damage during the resistance phase, and +3 if both of those things apply. And crucially, my wording is they get this range, not their range increases. That way, other crit range boosting things do not apply with it. So, like, if you get, was it Chroma that boosted its crit range? Something tells me Chroma was a crit range booster. I can't remember. Apparently not. Okay, I don't know which one was a crit range then. One of them had a crit range, but I don't want it to stack to the point that a monster can like crit on a 12 or something stupid. Yeah. Do I look at some homebrew stuff on stream? Not other people's, no. No, I'm solely focused on this project here. Jesse, I wanted it to kind of stack. I mean, I can understand it, but at the same time, the scaling would just get ridiculous. There's a potential there. Was Banshee? Oh, was it Banshee? Let's have a look then. How did I phrase that one? That's going to be Sonar, isn't it? While marked, attacks against a creature have increased critical range by 2. That would stack, wouldn't it? I'm going to pull up a poll. You guys get to decide, and this poll will stand. So, crit range on Harrow. Let it stack? Or, no, keep it fixed. You guys get 1 minute on that. I open the poll to you guys. You get to decide. Let it stack, or keep it fixed. Whichever you choose, that's staying in. Unless it gets massive negative reviews on the final release. So let's put it this way, Cosmo. If they don't stack, then the bonus is as written. It can't go any higher unless another source is higher. If we do let it stack, then potentially the monsters could combine different bonuses to the point that they can land critical hits for near double damage too much of the time, theoretically. One thing to note of this for Harrow is that Harrow's attack that would benefit from the crit is only the Dread Mace, because Thorrible, there's a separate saving throw that doesn't apply to crits. I think. Yeah, because it's a separate triggered thing. It wouldn't crit. My understanding. DM can rule it how they like. That was a tight vote. That was a tight vote. Actually, only 7 of you decided to make a decision, so there's that. But the vote, I said it would go the way it goes, and stack it goes. Alright then, I will not put any exemption into Covenant. It reads as it is. If Banshee and Harrow are put together by a DM, you can just look at the DM and go, why? Why do you hate us like this? That ain't on me now. You guys picked it. You guys picked it. Rip to whoever experiences that? Yeah, pretty much. How much does Banshee Prime give? If you have a Harrow Prime and a Banshee Prime together, because you'd need a Harrow Prime, a Banshee can get it on Sonar, which is a non-Prime, but on the Prime one, yeah, it's crit range by 2. So Banshee Prime plus Harrow Prime, and is that +2 all the way through, or does Banshee Adept do +2 as well? Banshee Adept does +1. Sonar +1, so it's only the Banshee Prime that goes +2, so that is more balanced. It seems I've been thinking balance all the way through, who knew? Yeah, we're all the way down here. So if we have a Harrow Prime and a Banshee Prime, and the Banshee gets hit, and the Banshee has advantage somehow, such as from Restrained, then the Banshee would have a crit range of 15 to 20. Ooh. I mean, that's pretty nasty. That's 15 to 20 crit range with an advantage attack already. Oh dear, that is a you done goofed at that point. You let this happen, players. You could have done anything you wanted. You could have just gone home and let the Warframes do their thing. Nope. You chose to fight them. This is what you get. Yeah, that could be a bit nasty. But I'm going to change that to a bonus action. Just the action economy there is too stacked against Harrow that I can't leave that as just an action. I want Harrow to feel like they could go in and just blast that one out. They still have to choose between that and Penance first, but otherwise, yeah. Critting 25% of the time isn't crazy all considered. Do I need to break this down for you? Yeah. Advantage allows you to roll twice. So if you have a crit range of 15 to 20, first of all, that means crit on 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's 30% in itself. Or rather, 70% to not crit. And if we roll that twice, then it actually goes down to a 49% chance to not crit. If I'm doing my math correctly there, I think I am. I am. Good. That noggin is still working. Which means that with advantage and the crit range, they will have a 51% chance to crit. 51% chance to land a crit. That does require a Harrow Prime and a Banshee Prime, and I think both of them aren't exactly well equipped to use crits, which is kind of the balancing point that I've included as kind of a safety. Banshee makes 3 attacks with the short sword and crossbow, and yeah, those are weak attacks. So like that would be boss fight tier, ultra boss fight tier. But if it's stacked together, it would be there, yeah. That's okay. Players have wished a meteor swarm and such at that level, it's fine. Yeah. I forgot the part where it says that if your HP becomes 0, you become a pile of dust. Maybe I should do that. Maybe not. What I'm going to do, though, is give Harrow something extra. Something that I do give to various primes. First of all, I haven't even given him his condition immunities. Every prime gets prime sure-footed. Condition immunities. Prone, restrained. Every prime warframe gets prime sure-footed, so they get prone and restrained immunity. Because that just makes sense to me. But now, the prime also gets a damage resistance. Go well with Renaris? Yeah, we could try and keep that in mind for Renaris when we get there in like 3 months' time. Damage resistance on Harrow Prime. Harrow should be resistant to... probably just Psychic. Go with everything else we've been doing. Yeah, Psychic. Ronald! Sorry, you seem to be a little bit lost. Today's Friday. We don't do Warframe raffles on a Friday. But welcome in. Hope you're doing well, Ronald. In fact, hold about. Hang a second here. Hang a second here. If I just go to my little midget thingy here. Ronald. Okay, granted you didn't vote for D&D, but you did vote for Stardew, so you knew Friday was happening. You voted. Shinigo, thank you very much for the 100 bits. I appreciate it. Weirdly, resistance to necrotic makes sense in Brain, given all the time it's spent changing against the Void and everything. It's really where we can view these. It's amazing. Shape Prime, some of them, not all of them, but some of them are available over on my Discord. ! Discord to join that. And once you're on it, you scroll on down, you go to the Miscellaneous Games Forum, because this isn't Warframe. It's the Warframes of Dungeons & Dragons Monsters, and there is a link to the document I put together up to that point. That has Excalibur, Mag, Volt, Ash, Atlas, Banshee, Baruk, Caliban, Chroma, Ember, Equinox, and Frost in it, all completely for free. You get that document, you get 4 tiers of every single Warframe. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 48 monsters. Actually, I think it's 49 because Atlas has bonus Rumblers. And Caliban has 50 monsters because Caliban has the Conquilists. 50 monsters, 1 PDF, available on my Discord for free. The others I'll be releasing once I've done the entire document. Because let's face it, 50 monsters is enough for a teaser. I've covered Mag, how do I handle Polarized? Let's have a look at that for you. Mag is a starter, so she's actually right near the top. Because I did the starters first as kind of a demo. Mag Prime. Now bear in mind this is going to be the strongest of the primes, but here we go. Strongest of the mags, but here we go. Polarize. Mag creates a wave of electrical energy, sundering the armor of its enemies. This is a bonus action spell with no duration. Mag chooses any number of creatures it can see within 60 feet, and forces those creatures to make a dexterity saving throw DC 19. On a failure, a creature takes 5 force damage. If the creature is wearing armor or has the natural armor trait, the damage increases to 16 force damage. And the creature's armor is cursed. Isn't it? Equinox 8 monsters? Oh yeah, good point, actually, yeah. It's more. God, there's so many monsters there. So 54 monsters just in that one pack. Okay. I built day-night aspects into the mechanics. Kinda yes, kinda no, Jason. You'll have a look at them. So the creature's armor is cursed, reducing its AC by 2. If an affected armored creature is within a magnetized aura, when hit, it causes electricity to arc within the aura. All creatures hostile to mag in the aura must make a dexterity saving throw or take a further 11 lightning damage. This can hit multiple times if multiple armored creatures are in the aura. So already you can see this is a lot of damage. It starts with a little bit, and then a lot of it, and then even more, scaling up on the armor. Okay then, Shinigyo. Thank you very, very much for the 10 gifted subs there. Going out to Fire Elite, to Bayer Johnny Deppy, to Aloma, to a Ginger Monster, to Laratilla, to Free Smells, to Zeveri, to Frowny, to Dervius, and to Blyko. Shinigyo, thank you very, very much for the 10 gifted subs there, you absolute legend. Cheers on that. Oh, I appreciate it, thank you. Following on with the Polarize, the AC reduction can be removed by a remove curse spell or similar, or with a successful intelligence arcana check after spending 1 hour attempting to cleanse the effect. Additionally, on cast, Mag and its allies within 60 feet gain 10 temporary hit points. That is how I handle Polarize. Now this is the prime, this is the top tier of the ability. but that is going to damage all enemies. It will damage them 3 times harder if they are armored. It will damage them even harder and everyone else nearby if they're inside a magnetized bubble, which I consider a magnetized aura. And it curses the armor, which will last the entire battle unless they have remove curse. Especially if the effect stacks. Spell effects shouldn't stack, no. Spell effects shouldn't stack. If the same spell is cast on someone, the highest rated effect is what sticks. But yeah, this is terrifying. Mythfucker said, I was going to add Warframe's mini-bosses to my D&D game. Yeah, there are the enemies. Banshee was going to be fun, casting AoE silences, and her attacks being unable to be heard. I have a Banshee here. I have a Banshee. Let me just scroll. Okay, it stopped scrolling for some reason. There's the Rumbler, by the way, for Atlas. It's got its own page. I can put a graphic on there later when I finish the entire thing. Banshee Prime. Banshee Prime. Soundless form. All actions Banshee takes, including attacks, spellcasting, and movement, are completely soundless. Perception checks relying on sound to perceive Banshee will automatically fail. Great! Sonic Boom. Banshee extends a hand forwards and projects a wave of thunderous energy in a 30-foot cone. All enemies within the area must make a con save. On a failed save, the target takes some damage and is knocked back 15 feet, falling prone. That damage is 42, by the way. Anonymous, whoever ye may be, thank you very much for giving us a sub over to Crown Ladybug. Crown Ladybug, you've got a secret admirer. Oh. Cheers, Anonymous. Appreciate it. Following on from that, we have Sonar, a bonus action. Banshee emits an inaudible magical pulse. All creatures hostile to Banshee within 90 feet become marked by the spell. This effect penetrates physical barriers, such as the walls of a building or natural stone. A marked creature's location is known to Banshee and its allies if they are within 60 feet of the target. For the duration of the spell, while marked, attacks against the creature have increased critical range by 2. Yo! Great Maya, thank you very much for subscribing at tier 1 as well, joining the party there. Appreciate it. Oh. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Oh, you guys have just gone and started a hype train, haven't you? A hype train that is already somehow at level 4. Good God. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it, you guys. Really do. Lady would say, update, the anonymous gift was my friend. I'm personally yelling at them. I love them. Oh, that is a wonderful friend to have there. Thank you, Ladybug. Well, thank you, Ladybug's friend, and Ladybug, I suppose, being here to make it happen. Appreciate it. And Shadania, thank you very much for the 50 bits. Appreciate that as well. Cheers on that. It is indeed a hype train. Yep, you've got yourself in on it there. Does that get you in on it? I believe it does, yeah. I believe it does. And, well, okay. Goodbye to completing level 4. That's just been finished. That's just been finished. Yep, Ladybug, you've got yourself the drones back. And Alamak has just given it out. How many is that? Another 10 subs there. Holy shit. Holy hell. That's going out to Georgie Vok, to Sky Boreal, to Seshi Lover, to Ignek, to Minoshinu, to Matty Slayer, to RJV, to Toxis, to AK Fusion, and to Jason. Jason! Thank you very, very much there, Animalik. You've just got us all the way through level 5 as well there. We're actually starting on to level 6. Oh, it's been a hot minute since we've seen that happen. Bloody hell. Thank you very, very much. In fact, I need a fresh mug of tea to keep saying thank you to everyone here. Actually. Oh, cheers indeed on that. Let me just move my mugs around. Move the old empty away. There we are. Woo! Where was it? Yeah. Banshee, silence. Banshee enhances its soundless nature to drown out the noises of its allies and quash the magic of its enemies. While active, this spell creates an aura of a radius of 30 feet, centered on Banshee. Allies within the aura have the soundless form trait. The aura also acts as an anti-magic field, affecting only the spells, magical abilities, and magical equipment of creatures hostile to Banshee. So this is a super-powered anti-magic field. All such magical effects are suppressed in the aura, including area spells, which overlap with the aura, unless produced by an artifact or deity. The magical effects of equipment returns to normal immediately on leaving the aura. So that's pretty darn powerful. How's that for you? They were saying level 5 hype train. Does that mean D&D Euralia is getting an Umbra form? Oh dear. That would be a thing, wouldn't it? That would be a thing. Adam Alex, I got a bit of money to spend since my birthday is next week. I feel like it. Well, thank you very much for sharing some of the birthday love a week early over here. I really do appreciate that, Eddie. I really do. Cheers on that. That is very generous of you. Banshee is also generous. Banshee sometimes decides to share the sound again. It's that particular track. What is it? Never Be the Same. I'm going to look into that one. Something's wrong with it. Soundquake. Banshee redirects all the suppressed sonic energy into the ground around her, dropping prone in the process. This creates an aura with a radius 60 foot centered on Banshee, penetrating all physical obstacles. All ground within the aura is considered difficult terrain. If a creature on the ground starts its turn in the aura, enters it for the first time on the turn, or attempts to move 10 feet across the ground in the aura, it must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed saving throw, the creature falls prone. If this is the first time in a turn the creature has attempted this saving throw, it also takes 22 bludgeoning damage and 22 thunder damage on a failed save, or half on a successful save. While casting this spell is while this spell is active, Banshee cannot move, cannot take legendary actions, and must use its action each turn to maintain the spell. Otherwise, the spell immediately ends. So yeah, that one's pretty powerful. That one just kind of slam the ground, 60 feet radius all around her. You're on difficult terrain, so good luck moving around on it. You're being shaken, you're being hurt. You're taking 44 damage every time you fail the save. 22 even if you do succeed on the saving throw. And she's just channeling it constantly. Also, because she's prone, range attacks have disadvantage to hit her. Melee attacks will be great, except for the fact that if they're moving, even 10 feet across the ground trying to approach Banshee, they're going to keep on being knocked down. Constantly. So yeah, Soundquake. Also devastating. And I hope a fair implementation of what it can do. Do I have a Necros? Not yet. Not yet. Necros is further down the alphabet. We've just got Harrow here. I want to do a quick stat check, make sure this all adds up. So we got Harrow Prime, armor class 19, hit points 289. Did we figure that out? Did we check the numbers on that? I can't remember if we did. Yeah, 289. It's not 285, so yeah, Jason's done that. Thank you, Jason. All those stats look correct. Plus 6, plus 2, plus 4, plus 4, plus 6, plus 0. Yep, that's correct. Strength is 6 and 6. Intelligence is 4 and 6. Wiz is 6 and 6. Yep, that's correct. Let's see then. History, 6 and 6. Insight is... Wait, no, history's not 6 and 6. It's 10 and 6. It's 4 and 6 even for 10. Yep, that was incorrect, so fix that. Perception is expertise. Religion is good. True sight, good. Perception, good. Prone restraint, psychic. That's spelled all correctly. Good, good, good. Ew. Bullet jump. Yep. 27. 6 plus 3 times 3. Yep, that's correct. 22 times 3. Yep, that's correct. 90 feet. 90 feet. They match. Good. This DC 18 is correct. Good, so that's all been done. Yeah, so let's just have a quick look at the damage output here. Now, it's hard to consider crits. It is hard to consider crits in this context, but let's have an idea as to our damage output here. We're looking for, over the course of 3 turns, 95 per turn. So that comes out to 270, 285. Did I even improve this? I did not. Let me fix that. So that should be a 13. I wanted this to increase with each tier, so that is now a 6. I did also consider increasing this with tier, so let's increase that as such. Do I increase the level of it for that? Yeah, increase the level a bit. It's not much of an increase, but I'm going to increase the level a bit. It just seems the right thing to do if we're making a stat change there. And then we have Covenant. Do we call Covenant 8th or 9th level? Considering I'm concerned about how powerful the crit range can be, 9th level. That amount of crit range for an entire minute. Unblockable if you don't counterspell it. Yeah, I'm leaving that one as a 9th level. That should be fine. Right, Is this going to cover it? Or do I make that... Do I take it even higher? 3d12? 3d10? YOLO. Said absolutely no designer ever. Take it up to 19. Reason being is that we are jumping up from 70 damage per round to 95 damage per round, so that's an extra 25 asking? No, actually, giving it an extra 3 there, plus the crits. Extra 6 there, is giving it extra 18 per round. And then we got the crits on top to consider. And also it's more than 80, it's actually, yeah, no, let's not do that. That is actually a terrible call, I'm not going to do that. Keep it at 2d10. Yeah. Do we want to give more cast? That's a good idea, Jason, actually, yes. More cast of the lower level spells. Let's do that with... 1 per short rest. Let's make both of these 2 per short rest here. Reason being is that if Penance gets counterspelled, Harrow has another. There's a bit of a slot burn, and if the fight goes on for a long time, he's got something else to use later down the line too. So yeah, given those 2 per short rest, a little bit of a power spike. That's a good shout, Jason. I won't do that with the Harrow Master. Or do I give the Harrow Master another Condemn? It is an action. Yeah. It shows a 2 per short rest, 1 per short rest rather than use word 4. Oh, okay. Is it? When did I change that formatting? That would have been... First one would have been mag, 1/short rest. Oh, when did I change that formatting? That one slipped past me. Vault is 1/. Ash. No. Ash is 1/. Atlas is 1/. Okay. Banshee / Baruch. Yeah, I'm gonna just check one of each frame to be certain. So yeah, Baruch is good. Caliban is good. Chroma. Chroma is good. Ember at will 1 per short. Yep. Equinox, which as we see is split into day and night. Both can happen. They're interchangeable. Short rest. Yep. Then Frost was definitely good. Okay, so then after Frost we've got Gara uses a slash. That's fine. Garuda is where it went wrong. It went wrong 7 weeks ago. We can actually put a date to it. It went wrong 7 weeks ago. And you didn't catch it on the stream then. Sorry. It's my fault. My issue. I'm fixing it. So, Garuda, 1/short rest. There we go. I'm just gonna manually go through and do these one by one. Ain't that fun? Uh, 2 per short rest on the Mac Rush. 2 per short rest, Mac Rush, and Kinetic Plating. Gauss just gets loads of cast because they deserve it. There we go. Thermal Sunder is only a single cast, because again, deserve it. Macross just become at will, because they deserve it. Jason said, I bet you changed it during the break, happened during the OGL debacle. Yeah. The whole OGL thing was just so stupid. And do you want to know the craziest bit? Because of the way I've actually made this, it doesn't actually interact with the OGL. I am using relatively agnostic terms to it, so... yeah. But it's out of solidarity and just disappointment. It was so stupid of what Wizards of the Coast are doing in the whole OGL business. But hey, corporation's gonna corporate. Corporation's gonna corporate. That's what they do. I won't get too political over that, but that's what they do. No, yeah, that'll be fine. Nearly there, nearly there. So many abilities, so a little difference, but I'm making the changes. And that is all of them. Alright, cool, that's fixed. Thank you. Woo! We got there. We got there. Alright then. True, you avoided tagging in their spells or feats as a rule. Heck, remember you explicitly choosing not to write an ability acted as spell X. Exactly, yeah. Like I said, I didn't want players to have to reference different books just to be able to run the monsters. They should, if they just know the rules of Dungeons & Dragons, a DM should be able to just use these monsters. Hell, even if someone doesn't know the rules specifically of 5th edition, if they have enough familiarity with tabletop rules, they should be able to take these items and apply them. Because DCs apply. Actions and bonus actions is the most Dungeons & Dragons bit in this entire thing. And perhaps the reference of the skills. Even then, skills are open words, they're clear words. True Sight, there I am skirting things. That might be considered part of it, but maybe not. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Not my remit. But yeah. Aside from that, everything else is pretty much either system agnostic or straight out of Warframe. And I have checked in with DE before I even embarked on this project proper. I sent them a sample just of the Excalibur and said, this is what I'm looking to do. What do I need to know, IP and otherwise? And they laid out the terms, as it were. Yeah. Some could possibly argue that the use of weapon stats runs with the SRD stuff, leaving them there. Well, that's the thing, is that the numbers, you can't have... so you can't copyright, patents, or anything like that, game mechanics. So the 1d6 for a mace, no control over that, nothing. There is absolutely no protection on that. The idea of a mace, can't copyright that. It's a thing that exists in the world and has done for centuries. You can't copyright that. A dread mace, that's mine. But it's also not copyrightable, it's too simple. No copyright would ever be granted on that. Just wouldn't. The biggest copyright here is Warframe's copyright. The idea of a Warframe called HARROW that has the abilities Condemn, Penance, Throwable, and Covenant, as is on the Prime here. To have a upgraded version of HARROW called HARROW Prime, all of that falls under the copyright and IP of Warframe, which is why they are recognised. I've done my research. I know where I stand on that. But with that, chat, I think I'm very happy to say that I just managed to get a bit of tea on my screen. I'm happy to say that I think that is completed HARROW. We've got a little tag explanation there for Charging Throwable. I've got a bit of space that some graphics can go into, so that's fine. But yeah. We're all very thankful they're allowing me to use their IP in this venture. Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. Hey. Warframe has a robust ban policy. You actually completed Warframe in a single stream? Oh, we've done that multiple times, Cosmo. Excuse me. We've done that multiple times. I'm just happy that we managed to do it with HARROW. Like, at the start of... When you arrived here, very quickly, when you arrived here, did you think that Thurible would fit into D&D this reasonably? Did you think that Penance and Thurible and HARROW's attempts at passives, or just a passive for HARROW, would actually be so approachable? Yeah. Because I'll be honest, I was thinking about this on the approach stream. I was thinking, like, what can we do? How do we fit these bits and pieces together? What am I going to have to keep? What am I going to have to throw away? How am I going to make this work? And I feel happy with how this has come out. I'll be honest, I didn't anticipate going down such a psychic route with him. But I feel it just fits the theme. Being so almost alien to the other Warframes. So otherworldly. But not otherworldly because he is otherworldly. Otherworldly because he's the only one prepared to deal with it. And that gives him a very strong identity, I think. I'm quite happy with that. I'm definitely quite happy with how that has come out. That has been a fun one. So that gives us HARROW. So off our list now. Just to say the whole Grant's Energy part was summed to me. Yep. Basically, skip it. Give it something else. As I said, I was abstracting the idea. That was the big thing I was stuck on, is how can I change energy into D&D in a way that isn't just trying to fiddle with spell slots, because this entire time I have been not dealing with spell slots. And that's how I did it. Extract it out. What is energy? It's to cast abilities. What are abilities? To affect the enemies. Why are we affecting the enemies? To kill them. Why not just get straight there? Boom. Thurible. We generate the energy to harm the enemies. Job done. Now just describe the harm. Sometimes you have to look underneath a mechanic to see what actually is going on there. What's really the core essence of this thing, and that is where you find the true identity of it. But yeah, if I just went down the uses for rest stage, that would create all kinds of encounter balancing mathematics, which would be just wonky, at the very least. There'd be the problems of incorporating it in a way that a DM would find easy to track, and on top of that, a way that the players would find interesting to engage with. If a character just spins the thing around, then they can just keep casting the same abilities. It's just, what's the difference between that and them just having more casts anyway? It's like with the whole passive idea at the start of, how about the passive of starting with temporary hit points? What's the difference between that and just having more hit points? But Thurible here is channeling it. The more channeling leads to more damage, and clearly telegraphed, you're getting more and more of something, and that damage is very different. It is psychic, it is AoE on a melee hit. That creates something different, it creates something new and engaging, and it is, in a way, telegraphed, as I say. That is what encapsulates this as a good idea for me. I'm happy with it. Plus Dread Mace. It's got the right level of edge for HARROW, I think. It's got the right level of edge. So we've got Ash, Atlas, Banshee, Baruk, Caliban, Chroma, just go with that. Ember, Equinox, Excalibur, Frost, Gara, Garuda, Gauss, Grendel, Jaya, HARROW, and Volt, all done now. And like a third of the way through. A third of the way through. Chat, it's been absolutely wonderful. It's been absolutely, truly wonderful. Especially thank you to Adam Alex, Shadania, to Greymire, to Ladybug's friend, Anonymous, to Shinigyo many times over, and to Corrupt Policies. To all of you today, thank you very, very much for supporting the stream and enjoying this with me in this creation. That is where we're going to have to wrap up for today. But I will be live again on Sunday for some more actual Warframe, rather than turning them into D&D monsters. If you want to see more of this, make sure you vote for it over in Sporty Lounge sorry, the Variety Friday poll just next to the Porter D Lounge on the Discord. So if you are a subscriber, if you've become a subscriber today, make sure on the Discord and do get a hold of that. But until then, or until whenever, I'll see you on the next one. Have a very good weekend. Bye-bye.